Welcome to the AJ Bell Stadium on a Friday night. It is a little bit chilly, but what warms the heart more than a Valentine's Day weekend? So, if you're at home right now, turn to the one that you love, take their hand and look deep into their eyes and tell them the words that they need to hear on this Valentine's weekend, which is, I love Sale Sharks. Well, I love you guys as well, obviously, just as much as I do love Sale Sharks as well. But happy Valentine's weekend, Chris. Happy Valentine's weekend.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks, Colin.
And also Kung Hei Fat Choi, because it is also Chinese New Year. So I think I think Kung Hei Fat. I think that's not the swear one. That is the right one. I'm sure I've got that right.
Impressive Mandarin.
It's so Friday night. We're back at the AJ Bell Stadium. There's a lot to talk about today as well. We've got a lot going on, and we've only got half an hour to do it in. So let's quickly get on to the games. We've had two good wins there, haven't we? Leicester and Bristol. Chris, any thoughts on those two games quickly?
Well, two terrific away wins. Alex Sanderson's been in for two matches and his side have done him justice on both occasions. Two terrific victories, particularly at Ashton Gate last Friday night, Colin, as you say, against the league leaders and arguably the best side in the league this season. And now it's four wins in a row. So four terrific victories, three of those away from the AJ Bell, and the opportunity tonight to add a home win to Alex Sanderson's early CV. So far, so positive.
I mean, Bristol last week, it was a great result. Ollie, your thoughts on that, please, mate?
Well, Sale were deserved winners, weren't they? They played the better rugby. Bristol like to play an expansive game, and Sale played to their strengths. They were really physical. I think we saw that last week in a couple of games in the Six Nations as well. You've got to be physical, and the teams that are the most physical usually come out on top, and Sale did that last week, and I'm sure Alex Sanderson is expecting something similar to tonight.
We're going to talk a little bit about the team, the makeup. There's a lot of people, a lot of different positions changing in today's game. Quite a lot to talk about, which we will do a little bit later on. But we've got a special guest who's at home, I believe, in the warmth. So we should be able to see. Ben, are you there?
Hello.
There he is. Mate, it's freezing here at the moment. Are you nice and warm at the moment where you are?
Yeah, it's pretty nice in here.
Pretty nice. Listen, the reason why you're on here today as well, we're going to talk obviously a lot about the rugby and about the game, but I just want to quickly talk a little bit about last week was the Children's Mental Health Week. We're lucky at Sale Sharks to have Place to Be as our charity, and we just want to quickly just talk to you a little bit about the mental health side of things and the importance really about supporting each other and things like that. I'm just wondering if you had some points to tell us about the importance of mental health within the team in general, but again, you know, the importance of Place to Be as well, being one of our sponsors.
Yeah, so Place to Be is the leading charity providing schools-based mental health support for young children. They're doing a great job, and especially at the moment, I don't think we've ever seen it more crucial, the support that's necessary for children. I think every generation has a responsibility to support the generation below, and I think that responsibility is no more prevalent than right now. We've got a big responsibility. I think a lot of children are going through a lot right now, so to be able to support them within their mental health is massively important. How
important is the physical side of your physical health attached to the mental health? Does one lead into the other? I'm absolutely really terrible at my physical health at the moment. I'll be honest, I'm not very fit, but you know, if I was to pay more attention to my physical health, do you think that would help my mental health as well?
Yeah, you can't have good physical health without mental health as well. Especially as rugby players, your mental health really underpins part of your performance, whether it's on the pitch, training, even around the training ground. It really does link. It has a massive difference, and especially in high performance environments where there's a lot of stress, whether it's selection, injury. You really can't get enough support in terms of that kind of stuff.
Tell us a little bit as well, if I got this right, that you're becoming a champion of children's mental health in regards to the Place to Be charity and what we do here. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I think I've been working with them for just around about a year. And yeah, they're absolutely amazing. There's a lot of great people there, and what they're trying to do and what they are doing at the moment is absolutely incredible. And kind of for me, it's kind of linking that with rugby and how rugby we can kind of expand their reach within rugby.
We were quite lucky last year. We actually spent a lot of time with the children and the one of the schools. It was fantastic. Really enjoyed it to see what Place to Be have been doing. And there's a virtual bucket collection going on today. So if you're at home, there is a link, Ollie, isn't there, somewhere?
Yeah, we link in the description or on the website as well.
Brilliant. So yeah, get onto those.
It's on Twitter and Instagram as well. shoutouts Twitter and Instagram as well.
Brilliant. Thanks, Ben. Ben, Chris, have you got some questions for Ben about the game today?
Yeah, Ben, I think it would be great to get your thoughts on having seen so many changes in the Sale lineup tonight, 10 from the team who won at Bristol. How difficult will it be for players who haven't had the opportunity for a few weeks to come back into the side tonight and be pressed straight back into a Gallagher Premiership match like this one?
Well, I think what Alex has brought in terms of that, there's a big onus on the team knowledge. So it's if one guy misses out, another guy comes back straight in, it doesn't make a difference. I think what we're seeing, kind of like you see with the younger lads, is it's very easy for people to come in the team right now because the knowledge, the detail is there. And yeah, almost it's probably never been easier to come into the team and actually do your role. And especially with those younger lads, the pressure's almost taken off them. They can focus on themselves, focus on what they do, and kind of it's a very good team atmosphere at the moment.
And I guess, Ben, we're still in the phase here where Alex is so new to the club that players have got the opportunity to really stake a claim, and it's a question really of a blank slate for everybody to prove what they can do. And does that spice up things in training? Is there extra competition, players looking for that extra 5% to impress the new boss?
I think you'd be lying if you said there wasn't, but I think there's a lot of emphasis with Alex in terms of rotation, though. It's about finding that balance of competition, actually giving lads an opportunity, because if you're not giving lads an opportunity, then why are they training? What are they doing? So it's kind of like, and that's his role. I think he's doing really well. It's kind of that. It's a very fine balance. But I wouldn't say the team's been any better shape than it is right now in terms of that balance that we've got.
Neutrals will be looking at this game tonight, Ben, and perhaps thinking, well, Sale are 4 wins on the spin, Bath are 4 defeats on the spin. This is a game that's going to be an absolute gimme for the form that Sale are in and the difficulties that Bath have got, particularly with Bath losing so many players to the Six Nations. How difficult is it in the dressing room not to feel that sense of expectation on your shoulders and to guard against complexity? How do you deal with that?
Well, in terms of you can't completely block out what you read on Twitter or in the news. It's no secret that Bath are struggling at the moment. But what you do know about teams that struggle is they come back. Like, no team loses every game in the whole season, so you know they've got a win in them. So for us, it's about they're going to strike, and we saw that early on. Early on the season last season. They came up to the AJ Bell and they did a massive job on us. So we know what they're capable of when they get it right. It's just some reason it hasn't clicked, but they definitely have that capability within them.
Ben, listen, we're going to let you go because you're probably freezing where you are at the moment.
Yeah, let's get the dinner on.
Get the roasty on and stuff like that. Listen, we really appreciate your time coming to see us today, as do the fans. They are desperate, as always, to be here with us. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them would still be in the bar at this point with this weather today, but the importance of the fans coming back is tantamount. We want to get there, and we're desperate. It's really strange being in the stadium, so to have you on here is absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me.
See you soon. So listen, let's talk a little bit about those matchups as well now. So firstly, let's talk about all the changes, Chris.
Yeah, well, only 2 of the backs who started at Ashton Gate on Friday night, Sam Hill and Byron McGuigan, start tonight. So Simon Hammersley gets his first opportunity of the season at full back. We see young Connor Doherty come into the centre alongside Sam Hill, and Rob Dupria gets his first game at number 10 of the season. So a lot of changes there. No Faf de Klerk, first time he hasn't started a Gallagher Premiership match this season. So the back line really heavily changed, and that's difficult because you can train as much as you like, you can look at combinations and work at who's going to play where and some of the calls you're going to make, but until you put that into practice in a real match situation, you don't know whether players are going to gel and how well that back line's going to work. So lots of changes across the backs, also lots of changes in the forwards as well. Only Curtis Langdon from the front row survives from Ashton Gate, John O'Ross switched to open side to accommodate the return of Dan Dupree at number 8. So lots of changes through the side, but as Ben was saying to us, Colin, I think Alex Sanderson is really keen to get competition throughout the squad. He wants to give everyone the chance to shine. The opportunity tonight is there for them.
So listen, talking about that competition, we're seeing pictures of the warm-up actually. Katie was on that a little bit before. You've got Lude in there, you've got Josh in there, you've got players in there who aren't featuring, making sure that the competition still exists. How important is the bench now? The flipping that we've got Faf on the bench, for example, Ollie. What's the benefit of that, for example?
We need a squad in these seasons, Colin. Obviously, there was the last season finished quite late, so we came into this season quite quickly, and having those squad players available is going to be important. And in the Lions, they always say the team that isn't selected for the first test, their role is so important because they've got to prepare those players for the game. And I'm sure the likes of Josh and Lude are out there now doing that. So that's just as important as those who are starting, and they're going to have a big impact throughout the season.
And that's funny because we were talking about the squad thing right at the start of the season, coming off the back of the disruption of last season and how it fits in. And I think, you know, this is one of the things. It is a squad, it's a team, it's a club effort. And this is the point that if you're at home right now watching us freezing, you know, we're doing our bit for you the best we can. So, you know, send us in any questions you have. We're going to speak to Alex Sanderson after the game. We're going to go and meet him pitch side afterwards. So if you've got any questions for him, get them in. No tactical questions. I'm not very good at the actual gameplay side of things. But if you want to shout out anybody during the game today, Chris and Ollie will shout out those for you during the commentary as well. We really, really want to hear from you. Tell us where you are. Tell us how warm you are, but you know, don't take pictures about how warm you are, so we'll be very jealous. But tell us about what you think the score's going to be looking like today. It is cold. I think one of the things that's going to be important from a mental perspective as well is not to let the mind go slow and go quiet as well. Lots of things to think about in the game. But listen, before we talk a little bit more about that, we've been watching the women recently playing extremely well and developing strongly. It's been brilliant, and if you haven't seen them in action, we've clipped up a little thing for you. I don't know how long it is, but it's going to be really good. Take a look at this. What an absolutely sublime try to finish that VT off. If you haven't caught the women, we do Sale Sharks live at the women's game, every home game at the Hayward Road grounds. Chris and Ollie sometimes are there together, sometimes Ollie is down in Bristol and has to do it from home, but we still get good commentary across the internet, which is fantastic. So listen, if you haven't followed the women yet, do it. Get onto social media, follow them on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Just talking about social media, a couple of shout outs early in, so the early doors are in. Listen, can somebody send some firewood or something? I think, or rub two sticks together to stay warm. But listen, Samuel Crowther, I've not got my readers on, so sorry mate, says, come on you Sharks. Barry Coates, have a great game tonight guys. We will be all shouting at the TV tonight. The Coates family, hello to you. Simon Greeny, Miss freezing my rocks off in the wooden spoon end. Go sail, sail, sail. Listen, we're doing it all for you here, mate. Carrie, your mum's been on. She says, are you wearing your big woolly scarf? You got that sorted. So big shout out from the Morris family in Wales. Good to see you. So we've converted them as well. And there's plenty more which we'll get Ollie to read out. We've got a couple of score predictions here. Should we go through those quickly? Let's have a look. A Moto Turtle. That's a great name. 27-17 Sharks. That sounds good. Ali Baxter 17-10 to Sale. I like that. It's a bit close, a bit too close. Gives them the bonus point. Losing bonus point. Trevor Bailey says 35-12 Sale. So there's a lot of love for Sale. You would expect that on the Sale Sharks social media channels tonight. Let's talk a little bit about Bath, and let's talk a little bit about the fact there's going to be no relegation this season. What's that going to do?
Well, I think for a side like Bath, who are obviously struggling, that takes the pressure off a little bit. Gloucester, Worcester also down there. It certainly allows those clubs to rotate their players a bit more. Jonathan Thomas of Worcester early in the week said he can now rotate his players a little bit more if there is no relegation, and we've obviously seen that today. I don't think Bath are going to go down, but there is another debate about the fact the Championship, do we want to incentivise clubs to come up? So it's certainly an interesting conversation, and obviously the clubs have decided to have no relegation this year, which is also off the back of the COVID stuff, the forfeits because of positive COVID tests. So there's so much that goes into this, but it certainly changes the dynamic of the season.
He's right, Chris. You know, there's more than rugby to think about here. There is that COVID threat of how do you manage your squads, how do you manage your team, how do you manage the club, how do you manage the fixtures list, how do you manage the Premiership. With all those things in play, it's a very complicated thing to be handling, and I guess not having a relegation probably helps just release a little bit of risk, a little bit of stress, I suppose.
Yeah, and also some financial burden for teams who are struggling, who might otherwise have recruited late in the season to try and ensure they save their bacon, aren't going to need to do that at a time when they've got no fans bringing any revenue in, so it takes a little bit of risk off there. And of course we know the financial implications for any club relegated from the Premiership into the Championship are significant, as we've seen many times in the way that it's happened. The Premiership down the years has had various motions to say, you know, let's cap it, a bit like in the Super League, where you know that you're going to be there for at least 3 years or whatever it might be. So there's always been that pressure there, and I think these circumstances, it was probably inevitable that we reach this output. But what it does mean is that if Saracens win the Championship as is expected, assuming it can be played, that we will have a 13-team Premiership next year, and that's an extra 2 fixtures for every club to fit into already a fairly congested calendar, so there's a bit more for the fixture planners to think through there. But I think, you know, in all the circumstances, it's the right decision. It does just mean there is a slight risk that teams that are going to have no chance of getting into a European place, it might lead to some uncompetitive rugby at times in the last third of the season or so.
Hopefully the last third of the season's got better weather than this, but let's talk about the brightness of Sale Sharks versus the matchups that we've got over there at Bath. So let's take a little look at the forwards first. Front row, let's look at those matchups.
Well, Bath are missing their 2 first choice props. They're away with England. Beno Urbano made his debut last week against Scotland, so Bath are short there. Will Stewart's with England as well, so Sale has certainly got the advantage there, but it has been a position where Sale have struggled a little bit this season, particularly at tight head. So I'm sure Alex Sanderson will want to see an improvement in that area tonight, but you would think in the front row, Sale should have the advantage.
I mean, Sale have got a really powerful pack out tonight, Colin. To have both the Dupreas in the back row and John O'Ross in there as well, you know, it's a really strong back row. JP Dupree back in to bring out some real power in the line-out. If you look at that Sale pack against the Bath pack, as Ollie says, Bath without some key players. Charlie Ewell's away with England. Elliot Stooks suspended tonight after a coronavirus-related violation. So on paper, Sale have really got the ascendant tendency in the pack. But they've got to prove they can do it. I mean, last week, despite the excellent win at Bristol, the scrum was not an area of strength.
And a lot of people say about creating patterns off a strong set piece, a strong platform, going forward ball is really important. But how important is that link? That number 9, Will Cliff is starting on his 199th game. We thought it was 200, but they re-corrected it. I mean, if he hadn't got to Bristol, maybe he would be well over 200 by now. But, it's Will Cliff at 9, not fast starting. What do you think about that?
Well, he's an experienced pair of hands, Colin, isn't he? He's been there, done that, got the T-shirt. I don't like the cliche, but that's what he's like. He's such an experienced player. He knows what he's doing in situations like this. And if it is going wrong, you've got Faf de Klerk on the bench. So,
but you would have to
days.
say, Ollie, tonight, Bath's greatest area of strength is halfback, because Ben Spencer last season, no one can understand why he wasn't being picked for England. And Reece Priestland outside him, all the experience, 50 Welsh caps, still a really good match manager at number 10. So, of all the areas that Bath have got problems in tonight, halfback is not one of them. So Cliff and Dupree have got to be strong there, because they've not had a huge amount of game time.
Well, Ben Spencer last year scored 2 tries there and was unbelievable. It was probably the difference between the two sides that day. And Wales still want to call up Reece Priestland. He's only not in the Wales squad because they're not allowed to pick him. So, as Chris said, it's definitely an area of strength.
That eyebrow dyeing that he's done and that hairdo, I know, Christ almighty, it's but listen,
I think he had a competition with Sam James.
I think he probably did, actually, to be honest. But then let's look at that. Let's look into the rest of the back line now, the centres, the full-back, the wing position. Where it is on the bench at the moment versus what's starting. Let's just take a look at that for Sale Sharks. Is that a strong? Is that because Alex Anderson wants to see these guys play, see what they're capable of, in regards to thinking about that long-term depth of the squad throughout the rest of the season, or is he experimenting?
Well, Sam Hill's now starting for, I think it's the 8th consecutive time at inside centre, so he's been the real constant really in the midfield for Sale. He's getting some regular game time, and he's got Conor Doherty outside him, England under-20s, who shone last season, got himself into the side, was part of the team who won at Wasps when the season restarted, that famous victory they had against a very strong Wasp side when Sale were weakened a little bit. So good opportunity for Conor Doherty to get a start. Max Clark up against them in the centres for Bath is a good prospect as well. He is a decent outside centre, and Tom de Glanville will come into the line from fullback for Bath. So they've got a couple of players there who are certainly got some experience, but Jonathan Joseph, a big miss for Bath at outside centre. If he'd been there tonight, that would have been a different prospect. And no Cam Redpath either, of course, who would have been in action for Scotland but for injury. So undoubtedly there are weaknesses in that Bath side tonight, and Sale will be looking at this game and going, really, this is 4 points, preferably 5, that we ought to be taking at home.
And that's the point. There is an opportunity here to get. I mean, we say it like, as a fans, we're sort of in the stadium going, "Oh yeah, we should smash it. 5 points, 5 points." But this is a really good opportunity to get 5 points and deny them that extra bonus point as well.
Well, you saw last week, everyone expected Bristol to beat Sale, and Sale went down there and did a job on Bristol. So there's nothing to say Bath can't do the same tonight. I don't think they will. I think Sale are favourites and probably should win this, but you can't be complacent.
And Bath have got a very good record against Sale, Colin. Sale have only beaten Bath once in the last 5 games, and as Ollie mentions, back in September last year, when both sides were still going for the top 4, Bath came here and were electric. But that was a very different starting 15 for Bath that night than the one we're going to see tonight.
And this is the thing, normally this place would be buzzing, be full of people, everybody would be shouting down at the pitch, they'd be clapping people on and off and things like that. As we hear Josh talking about the team sheet, the Bath team now, the point being is that there's an atmosphere going on here, there's a build-up that's going to help kind of dissuade those that psychological boost for the team to believe that they can get those 5 points, because they'll be hearing people going, yeah, we can get the bonus point, They're not hearing that today. That has to come within the team, obviously.
Well, I think by now, Colin, they should be used to it by now. We've been playing behind closed doors since August. I think that excuse is out of the window now. I don't think there'll be any excuses about there in the Sale dressing room about no fans. It doesn't make a difference now, I don't think.
And I think tonight, when you've got so many players who are really getting a run out for the very first time in front of Alex Anderson, they want to bring their best game, Colin. I mean, there'll be no shortage of motivation for players running out tonight going, this is the first time in front of a new director of rugby. I want to show him what I can do. I want to make sure I'm a first choice pick for the games to come.
Right, listen, we're going to go over to Josh now. We're going to listen to the team announcement for Sale Sharks.
Number 14, Byron McGuigan. Number 13, Conor Doherty. Number 12, Sam Hill. Number 11, Tom Roebuck. Number 10, Rob Dupree. And number 9, Will Cliff. And the forwards, number 1, Ross Harrison. Number 2, Curtis Langdon. Number 3, Coney Eusthausen. Number 4, James Phillips. Number 5, JP Dupree. Number 6, Jean-Luc Dupree. and the captain, number 7, John O'Ross, and number 8, Dan Dupria. And the substitutes for Sale Sharks this evening, number 16, Ewan Ashman, number 17, Valerie Morozov, number 18, Will Griff John, number 19, Matt Postlethwaite, number 20, Cam Neild, number 21, Faf de Klerk, number 22, AJ McGinty, and number 23, Luke James.
Really great team. I mean, that's the whole point. We're looking at the depth of it again, which is fantastic. So listen, we're going to let you guys go up to your commentary position. But before they do, obviously today's game is sponsored by Zen Office. If you want to find out more about Zen Office, get yourself onto the Sale Sharks website. There's a plethora of information there for you. But before you do that, make sure you get onto all the social media channels, get your requests in, get your questions in, get your shout outs in. Send us pictures of how warm you are, just to keep these guys on their toes. But before we go and join Ollie and Chris in the commentary position, here's a little clip video of the Sale Sharks men in action over the past couple of games.
Held up with the ball into midfield and suddenly there's release. Good leg drive and there's the first try for the home side. James has to step in to release. McGinty with a lovely offload. Dupria steps out. It's Jean-Luc Dupria with the try. McConaughey off the other wing and McConaughey steps out of the tackle and steps Bath over a sail line. Release pass to Joseph, a little chip through. Who's going to get there first? Oh, is it McConaughey? Wait, Spencer, I beg his pardon now. Because here comes Sale. Drive is the call. They go, they're there. It's a try.
So they can get to work on the drive. Ed Holmes in the thick of things, motoring towards the try line. It's Byrne. How fitting that is. Crucial. The visitors back in possession, and now a penalty which should seal the deal. Superb all night from the AJ McGinty. Another very strong contact, and AJ McGinty edging towards the 100-point mark in the Premiership.
The team's gone through the roof from Bristol.
Punched through by AJ McGinty. Hammersley with the football.
Advantage.
Cliff, McGinty. Wide for Sam, Luke James. What a pass that is.
He will run the full 80 minutes from Portfleet. And the steward is Madolo again that time with a head of steam. Scott inside the steward. With Sam James, it's still going, but then it's thrown forward. John O'Ross. Ouch. He's a big lad, is Lavanini. Oh, and that's brilliantly taken by Sam James, and this is a foot race. And can he get there? He's looking for support, is the centre. They're trying to get back to him, but James has got there.
Got a penalty, 17.
McGinty just getting it away, that's for Marlon Yard. Yard, what a stab from the wing. That was superb stuff from Marlon Yard.
Good evening everyone and welcome to a bitterly chilly AJ Bell Stadium for tonight's Gallagher Premiership match between the Sale Sharks and Bath. Well, it is mighty nippy here in Salford this evening, but Sale are warmed by the fact that they're on an excellent current run. 4 successive victories, including wins in both of new coach Alex Sanderson's opening 2 matches, and up against a Bath side tonight who are seeing a very different run of form. 4 defeats on the spin for Stuart Hooper's side, a team of course who made the last 4 last season. We're pretty much ready for kick-off here at the AJ Bell. Our referee tonight is Christoph Ridley. Bath will kick off in this first half in their change kit of all white. Sale as ever all in dark blue, and it's a very good evening to our Sharks Live special guest Josh Beaumont. Evening Josh.
Evening Chris. Yeah, in probably the coldest match I've ever been to at the AJ Bell I think tonight.
I'm glad you think so too. We're underway and straight away up goes Dan Duprier early on to secure possession for Sale. Sale going from left to right as Josh Beaumont and I look out in this first half from the main stand at the AJ Bell. Will Cliff digging at the bottom of the first ruck of the evening. Decent clean ball for Cliff as he makes his first start at number 9 in the Gallagher Premiership this season. Launches an up and under up the right touch line. Unfortunately though, that one straight out on the full. And this win tonight, Josh, I think is going to be something to really think about for the players, and Will Cliff finding that out straight away.
Yeah, it's probably a lot stronger down the pitch as well. I think just a misjudgment there from Will Cliff. It's obviously Sale playing with the wind, very strong wind and almost really dry conditions tonight. So I think it won't be a problem handling the ball, but I think, that kind of game management, especially for the 9s and 10s in terms of that territory battle, will be quite tough judging with this wind.
First throw of the night for Bath hooker Tom Dunn. He goes to the back of the line out. Good clean catch from Josh McNally, their skipper. And straight away Bath are on the attack. This is a really good start from the visitors. Will Muir coming into the line, but it's positive intent from the men from the West Country. Sale having to defend their line early on as the ruck forms very centrally just underneath the sticks. Ben Spencer burrowing away at the bottom of it. Sale defence thus far is solid, but an advantage coming. Referee Christoph Ridley's arm is already outstretched, so it's going to be a Bath penalty. Playing the advantage for now. They try and keep it tight. Miles Reed drives in their open side flanker, but Spencer feeds it wide. Priestland finds Tom de Glanville bursting through, and there's the first score of the night. What a start for Bath. Inside 100 seconds, Tom de Glanville from fullback coming into the line. Clinical finish from the Bath number 15, and Sale caught cold on a cold night at the AJ Bell. It's Sale Sharks 0, Bath 5.
Yeah, exactly the start that Bath were looking for. Coming off, a couple of poor defeats. This is what they've been talking about all week, and it's a nice break from Spencer at the tail of the line out. They got a good clean ball in the middle of the line out, and then Will Muir just off the shoulder, and then Reece Priestland with a really nice late show, almost a double pump they call it at the line there, and just drew Rob Dupree in, and then it was a tidy finish there by de Glanville, who is a very elusive runner, and he showed that just there then.
Well, absolutely not the start that Alex Sanderson had been looking for. His side conceding inside the first couple of minutes, and Reece Priestland with the opportunity to add the extras. Hugely experienced number 10, 34 years of age now, over 50 Welsh caps to his name. He's got a kick from the right hand touch line, about 5 metres in from touch. Strong wind to contemplate. He flights it towards the post now, turns away and lands the extras, and what a start for Bath. They lead Sale by 7 points to 0. Let's quickly recap the Sale team for you tonight. Simon Hamsley at fullback, Byron McGuigan and Tom Roebuck on the 2 wings, Connor Doherty and Sam Hill in the centres, Will Cliff and Rob Duprier at half-back, Ross Harrison and Cooney Oosthuizen in the props, Curtis Langdon hooks, James Phillips and JP Duprier in the second row, Jean-Luc Duprier, John O'Ross and Dan Duprier are the back row. Restart from Rob Duprier is fielded and thumped back with interest, and Simon Hammersley collects for Sale and carries the ball back over the halfway line towards the Bath 10 metre. Bit of intent from Sale now as they move into their first attacking ruck of the evening. Rob Duprier spins it out to Sam Hill, and Sale battling hard for it in the midfield, but Bath competing at that ruck on halfway. Cliff to JP Duprier. Now then, chance for Sale to burst through with John O'Ross. Ross opens his legs, has a chance to really go. John O'Ross with a decent break, but the handoff trying to find Byron McGuigan doesn't get a hand. Out of play, but Sale up to the Bath 22. Josh.
Yeah, lovely little tip pass there by JP Dupree and John O'Ross. Nice line from him. I'm not sure how the ball quite ended up in touch there, but no, Sale will be happy with that, I think, just to get a couple of phases in their shape, and also I think Bath seems to be trying to go for the tactic of holding up the big Sale runners there in the middle of the park and just trying to slow that ball down. So yeah, promising there from Sale. I think obviously just a slight knock on there at the end, which led to a Bath scrum here just outside of 22, and there's an area that that Sale struggled in last week was the scrum, so it'll be interesting how this first one goes.
Yes, the victory at Bristol, Josh, a terrific win, and we'll talk more about that when we get chance in this opening half. But the scrum, as you say, was not an area of strength within that game, and that's a free kick at the first engagement this time. Christoph Wrigley blasting his whistle. And so the first free kick of the night goes to the visitors. Thumped downfield and fielded by Byron McGuigan, wearing 14 tonight, but thus far on the left wing. Tom Roebuck on the right, despite wearing 11, and Byron McGuigan takes Sale back up just shy of the halfway line as the ball goes back to Rob Dupria. He knocks on, and Bath are noisy tonight. The visitors, well, you wouldn't think they were a team who'd lost 4 on the spin, Josh. Lots and lots of noise from the men in white.
Yeah, and it's a great start from Bath. It's exactly, as I said, exactly what we would have been speaking about all week, and that's what you need when you're on a bad run. You need to get off to a flying start, which have done, and then keep putting the opposition under pressure, which is just shown there. And Sale look a bit frantic in this first 5 minutes, and I think we're looking to those senior guys now, Will Cliff, Rob Dupree, just made that knock on, but just to calm things down a bit and get control of this game. I think they're probably thinking about they need to play territory with this win, but I think at the moment just keep ball and try and stretch this Bath defence.
So second scrum of the evening. Ben Spencer prepares to put in. Now then, free kick came first time in Bath's favour. Christoph Ridley stops the engagement. Has this been a big talking point at Carrington this week, Josh, the scrum?
Yeah, it has. It was obviously, it's pretty evident to see that there was a few issues there on Friday night, so we've worked hard on it this week. I think we've brought in a couple of new things over the last couple of weeks, so some of that was just probably a few teething issues in those games against Bristol. And fair play to Bristol, the way they changed the picture at each scrum, and they offset and didn't take our weight, and it was quite well done from them on Friday night. So just focus on kind of our process and a couple of technical issues this week that the lads have been working hard on.
Let's see how those technical issues play through at this second scrum of the night as Spencer puts that in, and it's a heel that is secured by Tom Dunn, his hooker, and Bath start to go again through Priestland. Now it's Clark out to the left wing to young Will Muir, who formerly of England Sevens, impressed coming off the bench in the defeat against Harlequins last time out, and Bath maintain possession, and it's Priestland once again in the midfield, initially tackled by Ross Harrison, making his first start of the season tonight. Still Bath probing, and decent kick forces Simon Hammersley to go back. The ball bounces off the corner flag and Hammersley touches it down. It'll be a Sale dropout.
Yeah, Will Cliff did incredibly well there, because that was a tricky ball that came through, and I think the law now actually is when it hits the touch flag, it's not out, and wherever it bounces, it's that's where it's in play. So quite lucky, and ended up in the 22 and didn't bounce back out onto the in play goal area there. But it's a nice bit of play from Will Cliff there.
Rod Dupria with the dropout, elects to go long and goes all the way up to the halfway line, where Rhys Priestland returns that with interest. Big spiralling kick, looking to take advantage of the difficult wind and see if he can perhaps induce a knock-on or possession for his team, and Bath do exactly that and have a chance through Clark there outside centre, former England under-20s man, getting up to the edge of the 22, and it's all Bath at the moment. Decent positive start from the visitors. Once more it's De Glanville with a little kick through, looking to try and get Josh Matavesi to chase it. Matavesi was in front of the kicker there, so had to check his run a bit, which gave Sale the opportunity to get hold of possession again, but Bath have turned it over once more. This is a very ragged start from Sale. It's all Bath at the moment. On that occasion, though, the kick going long and some respite for the home side. Still Sale 0, Bath 7. We've had 9 minutes.
Yeah, but Zach Merce did a really good job there, just getting the ball back. It was I wasn't too sure of the tactic from Rhys Priestland into Harlingale there to put the ball up, but it worked out for them, and then they're doing a really good job Bath actually at pinning Sale back into their own 22, and even with the wind it's proving difficult for Sale to exit now, and it's been a very impressive start from Bath, and I think from a Sale point of view, just want to get hands on the ball in the right area of the pitch and force Bath back here.
Rhys Priestland receives the dropout and puts another up and under up, which Simon Hammersley takes, but he's outside his 22. No chance to mark that, and takes the full thump of the tackle, but Sale do at least manage to secure possession. It's a difficult win this tonight. Although Sale have got it in their favour in the first half, it's all about judging it as it swirls around in the open environment that is the AJ Bell. But respite coming here. Penalty awarded against Bath at the breakdown. It's a Sale penalty on the 22. We're going to be keeping an eye on social media tonight throughout the game, and Ollie Lathrope's got some of your initial comments. Ollie.
Yeah, well, plenty of them people getting in touch tonight, Chris, on this cold night at the AJ Bell. It is absolutely freezing. Carol Lund says, not good at the prediction thing, but just happy for any winning score, and a bonus point win would be good. Trevor Bailey says, watching at home in Stoke-on-Trent and feeling cold watching you guys. Michael Pugh, come on the Sharks, big win tonight. Big shout out to George Pugh watching with me at home. And Victoria Brearley says, missing being at the stadium, but sat here at 22 degrees. Somewhere around the world then, watching.
22 degrees, and I think we're struggling to get to 22 Fahrenheit at the moment here as Curtis Langdon's throw goes deep to JP Dupree, and decent Sale ball from the line-out. They didn't make a huge amount of progress from the penalty. I initially was with you, Josh, and thinking Sale had the wind in this first half. I'm not actually sure now with the way it's swirling. Hard to judge who's got it.
Yeah, I thought, it always has a tendency just to potentially change here at the AJ Bell, and it was just at that line out there. I thought I'd go for the safe option towards the front with the wind, but it was a good throw by Curtis Langdon, hit JD, all 7 foot of JP Dupree at the tail there. So it was Sale will be happy with that. It's what they needed. They needed to get, as I said, just get a foothold in this game, and a penalty to drive in more was and I think, as you just say, that Rob Dupree's kick there, it just seems to be holding up a bit, and you think it's going to go absolutely miles with this wind, but I think it is swirling slightly here at the inside the stadium.
It might only be 0 or -1, and you might think to yourselves, what are they getting so frustrated about? People have watched sport in minus temperatures. The wind chill, folks, is significant. I went to the Winter Olympics in Turin in 2006, and at night watched the bobsleigh, and I was warmer than I am now as JP Dupree feeds to Will Cliff. Will Cliff unfortunately spills it. It's going to be a scrum and a Bath put in.
Yeah, just frustratingly very scrappy again from Sale there. I think JP, he dummied Will Cliff there from the top of the line out, and then threw it off the top. I think miscommunication there with the calling, and it's just not what Sale needed right now. As I said, they want to be playing in Bath half, and they're just giving away too much easy ball to Bath at the moment, where they haven't had to work for it. So they'll know that on the pitch, and I think it's always difficult when Sale going into the game as favourites, and you think that it's all going to go your way, and then Bath are an extremely strong team, and it's not like Sale have taken that we're taking them lightly this week, but I think it's just wrestling back that momentum, which is proving difficult at the moment.
Yeah, 10 changes in the Sale side if you're just joining us on Sharks Live tonight from the team victorious at Ashton Gate, including the man next to me tonight, Josh Beaumont, who gets a rest from the matchday 23. Others getting an opportunity for their first time under Alex Sanderson as that scrum goes down, and there's a bit of argy-bargy in the front row. Bath packing down with Joanne Schumann, Tom Dunn and Christian Judge, soon to be a Worcester Warrior at the end of this season. Josh McNally in the second row with Mike Williams, Josh Bayliss, Miles Reid and Zach Mercer in the Bath back row. So on paper, Sale with a powerful pack would be hoping to get the ascendancy in the scrum, but thus far, Josh, not quite happening.
Yeah, it's been a bit messy, a couple of collapses here. I think a free kick went against Sale in the first scrum, and it's not been. I think we had one stable scrum before, but we'll see now how this one goes. The referee just stepped in and had a word there, so that usually sorts things out.
Ben Spencer looking to put this ball in. The scrum starts to spin, and Christoph Ridley decides it's Sale who infringe on that occasion. Looks like it might have been on Kunni Oosthuizen. Christoph Ridley are judging that in Bath's favour. And thus far, the scrum difficulties from last Friday yet to be seen to have improved on the pitch tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure that scrum should ever have. Probably should have been a reset. That scrum. It was at a kind of 45-degree angle before the ball even came in. So I think the referees at the moment. I noticed it last week with Luke Pearce. I think one of their policies going forward is to try and speed the game up, and one of those areas where they can do it is at scrum time. So it's either they either want an outcome, they don't want too many collapses, and they want to move on from the area of a scrum.
Tom Dunn feeds the line out. Mike Williams, the Zimbabwean, makes the claim for Bath at the front. Bath set piece, the more solid so far, is Spencer feeds Priestland. Priestland feeds Josh Matavesi, the Fijian centre, who's brought down in midfield, but Still the visitors in possession. Will Muir working hard on halfway to keep the ball as the ball is spun wide right. First time for Semesa Rokotaguni to get the ball in his hands tonight, and he kicks ahead. Sale forced to carry the ball out of play. And it'll be a line out in front of the Printerland stand on that far side as Josh Beaumont and I look out in this first half. And Sale will have the throw on their 22.
Yeah, again, slightly disappointing from Sale. They initially some really good defence. They pushed back Bath at the driving more, and then must have caught them, but behind the gain line by about 10 metres then, and yet they find an easy ball over the top to Rokotaguni, which you don't want to do because he's he's shown over the last 10 years what he's capable of out on that wing, and again, slightly disappointing Sale, just slightly off it at this moment, but luckily just the line out goes Sale's way. Actually, no, it's come back on the Bath side, but good pressure from Sale. But Bath have it again just outside of Sale 22.
Rokotaguni again in possession, setting up the ruck as Spencer digs that out. Finds Zach Mercer, destined for Montpellier at the end of this season, and Mercer trying to continue that attack for Bath, but knock on coming. I think the swirling wind, Josh, is making life difficult for the players out there. And I mean, when you're playing in a temperature as cold as this, does it affect your thinking? Does it affect your muscles, or you just get used to it?
I think it probably does. I think some of us are more accustomed to it than maybe a few of the South Africans from both sides are actually on the pitch. I think the Northern lads are definitely a bit more used to these conditions. But yeah, it does. I think it. Especially, I think if it was just cold, it's not an issue. But I think this wind is really, playing on the players' minds at the moment. Just as we've said, it's swirling. They're not confident in, going through with like full kicks or half kicks, or they just seem a bit unsure at the moment. So, and it's the same for like the set piece. Hookers aren't, it's a tough job as a hooker anyway. When the wind's swirling like this, it's, I don't envy them being in that position.
A tough night all round. And penalty to Sale from that scrum. We haven't really had any fluency in the scrummages yet tonight. Christoph Ridley, youngest referee in the Premiership, former Leicester Tigers player, once more blasting his whistle. This time, though, it's Sale who get his decision, and Rob Dupree, first time he has had the number 10 shirt on in the Gallagher Premiership this season, can clear up the touchline, up the left-hand flank. We have run through the two packs and the Sale backs, but the Bath backs for completeness. Tom de Glanville, who scored the first try of the match in the opening couple of minutes, he's at fullback for Bath. Rokotaguni and Will Muir on the wings, Max Clark and Josh Matavesi in the centres, and it's Ben Spencer at scrum half and Rhys Priestland outside him. If you're just joining us on Sharks Live, it's Sale Sharks 0, Bath 7. Josh Beaumont and Chris Malaban with you, Ollie Lathrope keeping an eye on the socials, and we'll come on to commentary in the second half as Sale win that line out, and that's a decent platform for Jean-Luc Dupree to take the ball into the ruck as Cliff pops it short to Curtis Langdon, and Sale can now continue with JP Dupree popping up in the loose. Cliff popped to Jean-Luc Dupree, one of 4 Duprees in the Sale starting lineup tonight. First time we've seen all 4 in the 15. And Dupree, Dan Version, wins a penalty which Rob can have a shot at goal at, because this one's right on the Bath 22, bang in front of the sticks, and the chance for Sale to get underway on the scoreboard tonight.
Yeah, a good decision there, just to take 3 points and get some points on the scoreboard. Some nice interplay from the forwards actually. It was a nice inside ball by Curtis Langdon and a great carry by JP Dupree, and that just led to Sale being on the front foot, and then Bath I think getting done for being on the wrong side or something like that, Rook, anyway. But it's I think Sale slowly growing into this game now, and it's all about kind of from a Sale point of view planting that seed of doubt in the players of the Bath players' mind.
Rob Dupree then with this penalty, straight in front of the sticks, just outside the 22. Ought to be meat and drink for it to pull Sale onto the scoreboard and reduce the deficit to 4 points. Dupree steps forward now, right-footed strike is clean and true, and Sale are underway on the scoreboard tonight. Sale Sharks 3, Bath 7 after 20 minutes. Let's get a check-in with the socials, and here's Ollie Lathrope.
Well, if you think we're cold here tonight, Chris and Josh, Steve Stones is listening in Montreal, and it's -15. So I'm freezing. I'm sure Steve's freezing, but I'm glad you can listen in tonight, Steve, and enjoy the game with us.
Now that is seriously cold in Montreal. Great to hear from you, Steve. That gives us a sense of perspective. Josh, we should stop moaning. Is the wind chill as bad in Montreal? Question. Bath back in possession on the Sale 10-metre line, looking to spin it wild. Rokoduguni in possession once more. He's had a few touches in the last couple of minutes. The former England man. We're coming back for the penalty, and Sale, having got themselves back to within 4 points, have now transgressed pretty much straight from the kickoff. And a chance for Rhys Priestland perhaps to have a shot at this, although into this wind this will be a fair kick just inside the 10-metre line. Let's see if he's going to go for goal.
Yeah, not an ideal, a great response to Bath, but not an ideal one for Sale. A spillage at the kickoff. It's always tough trying to jump on a pod in when it's this windy. Tracking the ball is very difficult, and then I think then following up that mistake with another mistake, being offside. So as I just said, Sale slowly growing back into this game, but they've just shot themselves in the foot slightly there, and allowed Bath potentially an easy 3 points with the form that Rhys Priestland's in with the boot so far this year. And I'm pretty sure he's going to slot this over about 35 metres out bang in front of the post.
Yeah, Priestland with every opportunity here. The distance is the only thing that will add a level of complexity, but he is halfway between the 22 and the 10-metre line. He's straight in front of the posts. The swirling wind will need to be considered by the kicker, but he seems happy enough as he turns away, and indeed he is. And Sale, having put some good phases together to lead to the penalty that got them to within 4 points, now see that immediately go back out to 7 again. Sale Sharks 3, Bath 10, and we've had 22 minutes. I imagine that will really frustrate Alex Sanderson, Josh.
Yeah, definitely. It frustrates any coach when you talk about Sale have had to work pretty hard for these 3 points, and just to give them back so easily is disappointing from a Sale point of view. And I'll be looking to do the same thing to Bath now if possible, but Rokoduguni's has taken that nicely, and Spencer feeds it back to Priestland, who's kicked out just outside of Sale, or a bit further up, about towards the 10-metre line in the Sale half. So they've got a good platform now, Sale, to spring another attack. They got some reward off their last play from a line out in a similar position, so I'm sure they'll be hoping for something similar here.
Just as we wait for the line out to set, Josh, you've had 3 matches back since your injury. How have you felt it's been going?
Better than I thought, actually. Yeah, obviously.
Were you pessimistic?
Yeah, well, you always are after spending so long out injured. So to come back, especially 16 months, to come back and score off the bench against Gloucester, that was pretty special. And then just to get 380 minutes under the belt was great for me. So really pleased with how I've come back.
Rob Dupree on the loop finds Tom Roebuck, who takes the ball at pace out on the right wing, but we're going to come back. There's a shrill blast from Christoph Ridley for an earlier infringement, and we'll go back for a penalty. Looks like he's going to have some discussion with the touch judge on the far side, who is Peter Allen tonight, but infringement from Mike Williams in the line out, grabbing the inside arm of JP Dupree, and Rob Dupree can kick this to the corner. It really was quite a comeback, Josh. To score a winning try on your return could have been beyond your wildest dreams, I'd have thought, if you'd have visualised that night.
I was just happy to be on the pitch, to be honest, and turned up in the right area. I was blown a bit at the time, and we were picking going as forwards. I actually did a lot of that kind of work, fitness work coming back this time round. Usually do a lot of running, and but this time I did a lot of kind of the nitty gritty forwards play. So I've been doing a lot of picking going in my return to play. So I was obviously delighted with that. More because it was actually a massive win for us, coming off the back of a couple of defeats. We had a disappointing defeat against Wasps the week before, and then to get an away win. Probably didn't deserve that win, but then that's kind of set the platform for the last 3 wins, I think, and given us the confidence. So it's been a great few weeks just to be back playing, back around the guys, and although I have missed doing my commentary on a Friday night, it's much better to be out on the pitch.
I should hope so as well, Josh. I should hope so as well. Short break in play. Chance for many bottles of water to be brought on, although I should think the players are wishing it's something hotter tonight. But anyway, we have the usual rush of brightly coloured jackets on the field of play as water breaks are taken by everyone, but we've now got the line out for Sale, which they secure at the front through John O'Ross. Now it's Dan Dupree looking to burst through. Sale 10 metres short. First time they've threatened the line. Jean-Luc Dupree now driving forward. Jean-Luc Dupree just a metre or so short. Real power from the South African. Can Will Cliff dig this out from the bottom of the ruck? Sale a metre short, trying to find a way through. Real good opportunity to get themselves pretty much level on the scoreboard here. Dan Dupree tries to pick and go himself. Can't get there. Held up. Bath defence solid so far. Still a metre short. Sale continue to probe. 5 metres in from the left touch line. John O'Ross goes in. Byron McGuigan keeping a close eye on operations as well, joining in with the forward effort. Sale less than a metre away from the line. Ross Harrison burrows in. He's not a man who often crosses the whitewash, but he was close there. Cooney Oosthuizen now has the ball at his feet. Still Sale drive. Christoph Ridley has a real good look and gives the try. Sale are over and reduce the deficit to just a couple of points. And it's the captain coming up with it, John O'Ross, who got over. Sustained pressure from the forwards. Bath couldn't keep Sale out. And with the conversion still to come, it's now Sale Sharks 8, Bath 10.
Yeah, John O'Ross becoming a specialist at the pick and go from 1 metre out. He got a good try against Worcester, and then so he, good forward play, a good line out drive, fake dummy line out drive around the front. It was popped to Dan Dupree, who made some good yards, and then popped off to his twin brother, who went on a rampage towards the Bath line, and then I think 5 or 6 pick and goes, and the pressure told, and I think Sale had an advantage there as well, so that allowed them to give that a crack. And yeah, they usually see teams pick and go from the towards the post, but Sale mixed up there. They went to the blind side and to the open side. And I think just again a lot of hard work's been going into that area, so good reward for the pack there.
The pick and go becoming a very profitable method of scoring for the Sharks. As Rob Dupree stands over this conversion, difficult this one, 15 metres or so in from the left touch line with the wind swirling around the AJ Bell. This will be a good kick, and if he gets it, it brings Sale back to parity. Dupree, right-footed, looks confident, and is. 10-all. Very good connection from Rob Dupree, drilling that over the post, perhaps taking a deliberate decision to try and keep the ball low in this wind. It's 10 points all, and we've had 27 minutes.
Yeah, he looks in good touch off the tee, as Rob Dupree. It's 2 very confident kicks. He absolutely drilled that one from out wide. So, yeah, good, nice bit of play there from, as I say, from the Sale pack, and a good catch off the kickoff there from Jean-Luc Dupree allows them to Sale hopefully to get a clean exit this time. The last 2 exits have been quite sloppy, with Will Cliff kicking out in the full, and then a knock on as Will Cliff sets with a box kick now.
Better box kick from Will Cliff, good height on that, and in the field of play, good take from Tom de Glanville. Sale watchful not to tackle de Glanville in the air. The son of former England captain Phil, utility man for Bath, but always solid wherever he plays. But Bath in possession this match. All square then, 10-all as Ben Spencer launches that box kick up in the air, and forward comes Will Cliff to try and claim, knocks it on. Difficult under a high ball tonight, and I think both sides will try and exploit that when putting pressure on the other. Ridley playing the advantage here to see if Bath can make anything from it. In goes Miles Reid, one of the many academy players in the Bath side tonight, their open side flanker. Now Tom Dunn popping up in the 3 quarters, and de Glanville tries a link, but John O'Ross smashes into the tackle and ensures Bath can't make any progress. Some slick hands try and move the ball quickly to Max Clark, wide on the right wing, but the knock-on comes, and Sale with solid defence across the halfway line eventually leads to the error. It'll be a Sale put in bang on halfway.
Yeah, I think the wind, those box kicks from Ben Spencer definitely showed which direction the wind was blowing. They just held up there in the air, and actually it's becoming quite tricky for Sale to deal with, because it's too far for the fullback, and I think to come and claim that, because they're just holding up. And actually, I know there's cries from the touchline with potential offside there, because it's a nightmare for a forward that when those kicks go short, because you've got to get back the 10 metres yourself, and it's something that referees do pick up on. But I think in the wind tonight he's been a bit more lenient, maybe the referee there.
Yeah, I guess it's important. Difficult balance for a ref though, isn't it, Josh? Because you don't want to be super lenient that blatant errors and infringements aren't given, but otherwise you're just constantly blowing your whistle. It kills it as a spectacle.
Yeah, I think if you're fair to if you're fair to both sides and you're consistent in that area, because I'm sure there'll be times in the second half where it happens to Sale, and you'd hope that he's consistent. And actually, yeah, you're right. It's nice that the game can continue and flow a bit. So I think it's a fair enough call from the referee there. I think if Sale just need to adjust slightly with their positioning. No, it's not going to come as deep, so just come forward a bit more so that so Simon Hamsley can come from the back, or Tom Roebuck, very good in the air as a winger, and they can come and claim them.
Scrum on the halfway then. We've got 12 minutes left in the first half on Sharks Live. Don't forget to get your messages onto the Facebook page or Twitter or YouTube, wherever you're watching tonight. Ollie Lathrop alongside me is keeping an eye on all the social media comments that we've got. That scrum again is messy. Christoph Ridley thinking about blowing his whistle, but he's letting it go. And it's a right melee there, and Will Cliff is managing to pick up the ball at the bottom of it. That scrum ended up being anything but by the time that ball was dug out by Will Cliff. But crucially, from a Sale perspective, the home side remained in possession, having had the put in. Now then, what can Jean-Luc Dupree do? Picking up on the halfway line, finds Curtis Langdon. Third straight start at hooker tonight. Aka van der Merwe still out injured, and Langdon doing a very solid job at Ashton Gate last Friday, growing ever more so into that position. It goes John O'Ross, who's made his third rampaging run of the night, Ross, as he tears into Bath territory. Tried to bring in Will Cliff, and although he couldn't find Cliff, Sale have kept the move going. Here's Byron McGuigan cutting in from the left wing. John O'Ross really revelling in the number 7 shirt tonight, playing like a true open side, as Jean-Luc Dupree battles away again for Sale. Rob Dupree to Hammersley, who's hit hard in the tackle as he tries to continue the move through the 3/4, but Sale starting to have a bit of ascendancy now in this game as Dan Dupree finds Oosthuizen. We're halfway between the Bath 22 and the Bath 10 metre, but that's spilled out the side of the ruck, and Bath have the chance to break. Rhys Priestland thinks about a kick, but in the end can manage to get the ball away to Muir, and suddenly Bath can break, and it's on here for Bath, and Ben Spencer has a chance to sprint clear. Spencer back inside to Muir. Muir trying to get in at the corner. Can he be brought down? He is brought down. He's looking for the next man. Bath suddenly switch defence into attack. They're 5 metres from the line themselves. Dunn feeds it wide. Priestland to De Glanville, the try scorer. De Glanville's ball out to Matavesi. Matavesi with a bit of a show and go now finds Rokotaguni. Rokotaguni trying to find his way through, a couple of metres short, the Fijian. Still they press. Bath on the attack here. Can they get themselves back into the lead? Pass short for Dunn. Dunn looking to burrow his way through, and he's got there. And Tom Dunn scores for Bath. John O'Ross couldn't hold him up on the line. And Sale, having been in a position seemingly of the ascendancy, have found that with inside a minute, for one ball spinning out the side of a ruck, Bath have moved it downfield 60 metres. And ultimately it's Tom Dunn who has got in, and Bath thump Sale back hard just as Sale get themselves back on level terms. Bath forge forward again. Sale 10, Bath 15. Josh.
Yeah, great counter-attacking rugby there from Bath. It was Will Muirdy, I think the ex-Sevens player who showed what he's capable of there. Anyone who's watching on the Sevens circuit will see him, those long-ranging runs at the wing. They'll know what he's capable of there, and nice interplay with Ben Spencer, and a really strong carry from Tom Dunn at the end. And Sale been massively disappointed. They actually scrambled back pretty well to keep Bath out initially, but yeah, they looked a bit leggy towards the end there, and it just all came from a slightly loose breakdown. There's been a couple of them where it's just ricocheted, the ball placement's just ricocheted off the leg, and it's costing Sale. So it's like, obviously disappointing from a Sale point of view, but Bath will be delighted with the way that they've that they've dealt with the Sale pressure and then managed to turn their defence into attack here.
17 points to 10 then. Bath in the lead with 8 minutes left in this first half, and Sale having to once more chase the game. Yes, Will Muir, real pace from the England Sevens man. Sprinting in from that left wing. No Rory McConaughey at the moment for Bath. He is out injured. Joe Cokanasiga out of form, and that gives Muir his opportunity to start, having just made his debut off the bench against Harlequins last weekend. Rob Dupree trying to get Sale going again. Pass back inside is intercepted by Muir. and it's going to be a Sale line out just inside the Bath 10-metre line, which Curtis Langdon can take. So Sale have got 7 minutes to try and get themselves back on level terms in this first half. Looked like after a very strong Bath start, Sale was starting to edge things, particularly having got back level on the scoreboard with that John O'Ross try converted by Rob Dupree. But Tom Dunn giving Bath the lead again as Langdon goes deep into the line out to JP Dupree. Now Langdon on the peel, decent ball back inside to Tom Roebuck, cutting in from the right wing. Cliff to Oosthuizen. Oosthuizen driving it up. Cliff now to Ross Harrison, popping up in the loose. Cliff again to JP Dupree. Sale putting some decent phases together here. Rob Dupree to Sam Hill, cutting back inside. Consistent pick in the midfield, Sam Hill, over the last couple of months or so. His 8th consecutive start tonight, the former Exeter man. Conor Doherty with him in the centre, getting an opportunity to start. A relatively rare one for the England under-20s man. And Sale build again through Oosthuizen. Penalty coming with Ridley's arm outstretched. Kick from Rob Dupree is a good one, looking for Tom Roebuck. Roebuck fields it on the right wing. Good tackle from Ben Spencer, but it worked well, the combination between Dupree and Roebuck. Now it's Harrison. Sale deep into the Bath 22 now, looking to try and score and get themselves back on level terms before the interval. Jean-Luc Dupree looking to burst his way through the midfield. Cliff misses out Ross, finds Roebuck, cutting in from the wing to take a very central line through the middle. Cliff again to Rob Dupree. Hammersley up into the line is brought down by Rokoduguni. Wide left now with Cliff looking to dig this out from the bottom of the ruck. But Christoph Ridley has seen enough, and I think we're going back for the earlier infringement. That was a heck of a long advantage. Josh.
Yeah, Bath were looking quite comfortable in defence. Really meeting Sale well at the gain line. Some strong dominant tackles coming in, and a nice crossfield kick from Rob Dupree there, and Tom Roebuck did brilliantly well to gather that, and then it looked like he's going to get put into touch, but really strong carry there, and then that's given Sale if the referee's come back to a penalty, which Rob Dupree has decided it's about 40 metres out in front of the six, but decided to go to the corner 5 metres out. So a great attacking platform now for Sale, hopefully to even this game up.
Sale line out then 5 metres from the Bath line. Good opportunity for some pressure here in the other match tonight at Kingsholm. It's Gloucester 12, Bristol 12. So top against bottom thus far. Can't be separated in that West Country derby at Kingsholm as Langdon finds JP Dupree. Chance for Sale to drive here from this maul. John O'Ross at the back of it. Dan Dupree going in as well. Decent defence thus far though from Bath. Sale trying to go again and force their way round on the blind side. Christoph Ridley looking very intently at what's happening on the floor. Dan Dupree picks up and he's brought down initially in the tackle by Josh McNally. Sale 5 metres out. 3.5 minutes left on the clock in the first half. John O'Ross with Cooney Oosthuizen bound onto him, tries to go forward, but the infringement goes against Sale. And Bath will be delighted there, 5 metres from their line, trying to desperately keep Sale out. They win the whistle, and they're going to have the opportunity of a scrum and the chance to potentially clear their lines.
Yeah, good bit of play from Josh Matavesi there. He somehow managed to avoid Christoph Ridley and slowed the Sale ball up there. But good defence from Bath at that maul. It looked like Sale were quite well set, and Bath lost 2 or 3 men to the floor in that driving maul. It looked like Sale had a good platform, but Bath did well, re-establish their defensive line, and they met Sale well there, and they'll be looking now to probably win a penalty at this scrum or just get out, and with 2.5 minutes left till half time to get into the sheds with a 7-point lead.
Yeah, Bath will be pretty pleased with this first half, I think, to have a lead going into the interval. Time will tell as to whether or not Sale have had any advantage from this swirling wind in this first half. Hard to tell, but Bath have got that penalty from the scrum, and yet again in this first half we have seen that Sale have had difficulty in the scrummage. Different personnel this week than we saw on Friday night at Ashton Gate, but unfortunately the issues in the scrum, Josh, remain.
Yeah, don't ask me what's going on at the scrum because I have no idea. It's it looked like Bath actually wouldn't have hit there, and I think Sale came around and walked around on the loose head side, and it was given against, I think, Cooney, who stays in it actually on the tight head side. So not quite sure what goes on at scrum, even though I'm quite close to the action.
I thought you might have half a clue, Josh.
You kind of have an idea if you would have hit as a second row, but in terms of what's going on between those props and hookers, I have no idea.
Well, it's Bath, whatever's been going on, who've had the better of it in this first half at the scrum. We've got 90 seconds left, 7 points the Bath lead. Bath, 4 straight defeats coming into this game, Sale 4 straight victories. On paper this looked very much like Sale's match to win, but it's going to take a big effort in the second half from Alex Sanderson's much changed side to win this one. But 7 points, of course, just 1 converted try, and Sale very much still in touch. But it's Bath in the ascendancy as we look to shut out this first half. Strong rip from the busy winger Will Muir from Jean-Luc Dupria gives Bath possession once again. Priestland with a looping pass out to Matavesi, who throws a 7-style pass over his shoulder to Rokotakuni, and he accelerates over the halfway line. That was slightly risky from Josh Matavesi, but Fijian style and spirit, and he was happy to take the chance. He now elects to be a bit more safety first and kick downfield deep into the Sale 22 as Simon Hammersley returns that with interest over the halfway line. Less than 30 seconds left in this first half. Big up and under from Reece Priestland to try and recycle possession for Bath.
Yeah, there's some great Fijian flair that we saw from Josh Matavesi. Brilliant pass. It looked like Byron McGuigan had really cut him off there, but it just showed him and Rokotakuni really link up well on that right hand side and causing Sale a lot of issues there. And again, Sale before couldn't deal with the short kick-off, but they just got that one back there through John O'Ross. So one last chance here for the Sale Sharks just before half time.
Clock is in the red. It's got to come from this attack or not at all in the first half for Sale. Can they draw a penalty perhaps, or maybe even better, and get this lead eradicated before the half-time whistle goes? Attempted kick through from Doherty is disastrous because Zach Mercer can pick it up. Mercer can sprint away. Roebuck's got to chase him. Tom Roebuck is after Zach Mercer. Mercer is brought down by Roebuck. Is he not short enough? Mercer on the line, pops it back. Roebuck did just enough to hold him up, but Bath once more on the attack, and it's a disaster for Sale right at the end of the first half as Josh Bayliss gets over. That was the end of the half that Sale did not want at all. Connor Doherty's attempted little chip kick through as Sale sought to try to bring things back level. Well, it went completely the other way because Bath could escape, and Zach Mercer, although he didn't have the pace to get there, was held up just short by Tom Roebuck, did enough to set his team on the right way, and Josh Bayliss picked up from close range to go over. And so this is going to be a mountain to climb for Sale in the second half with the extras to come. It's Sale 10, Bath 22, pretty much Bath 24 after this kick.
Yeah, not the end to the half that Sale looking for. Just a slight mistake from Connor Doherty there. He saw the space in behind, but just almost tripped over slightly as he's trying to grubber it through, and Zach Mercer picked it up, and he did really well to stay composed and not reach out and get done for double movement, but to place back. And yeah, I think it'll be a few stern words in the dressing room at half time for Sale, and I think looking ahead to the second half, we'll see with the win, Reece Priestland will probably just look to pin Sale back and use the buffer of the 14 points that they've got.
Not the half that Alex Sanderson wanted at all. Sale trailing Bath here by 24 points to 10. Bath got off to the best possible start in this game with a try from Tom de Glanville in the first 2 minutes, which Reece Priestland converted. Rob Dupria then bringing Sale back into it by kicking a penalty, but another one from Priestland took the score out to 10 points to 3. Then Sale got level. John O'Ross's pick and go try converted by Rob Dupria to make it 10-all, but since then in the last 8 minutes of the half, Bath have pulled away with tries from Tom Dunn and from Josh Bayliss. Both of them breakouts from points where Sale were on the attack, and both of them converted by Reece Priestland. So half-time here at the AJ Bell. It is Sale Sharks 10, Bath 24. Colin.
Chris, Ollie, Josh, get yourselves in the warm. It is bitterly cold up here in the commentary position. So guys, you get yourselves warmed up, get yourselves a well-deserved cup of tea, and get yourselves warmed up. If you are at home, we still want to hear what you're up to. Give us your opinions on that first half. Tell us what you think about the Sale Sharks defence at the moment. How are we taking advantage of our opportunities? Let's just go through some of those shout-outs again for those that we may or may not have missed. Apologies now if we've already shouted out, but we'll shout you out again. Carol Lund, she says she's not good at the prediction thing. She's just happy for any winning score and bonus point win would be good. So yes, absolutely. Come on you Sharks. Michael Pugh says a big win tonight would be great. A big shout out to George Pugh watching him at home. Missing being at the stadium, Victoria Briley. But same sat here at 22 degrees. Sale Sharks to win 35-15 she said, but maybe that's definitely one that needs to change. Ali Baxter, we mentioned before, plenty of Scottish support for Sale. Shout out to Ian, Alex, Stuart and from Ali in Glasgow. Howard Copenhagen missing being at the stadium and pre-match socialising. Come on Sale, we miss you too. Matt Christian, 26-12 Bath, Sale, sorry, and lots of other predictions. Zach, come on lads, get in the match. Yeah, they definitely need to get into the match, absolutely. Just a quick shout from the other game, Gloucester v Bristol. It's 12-all at half-time over there at the moment. So listen, give us your score predictions now that you've seen the first half. Tell us a little bit about what you think about that first half. Tell us what your opinion is of the game. Where are we missing out on at the moment? 10 points to Sale, 24 to Bath, and this is half-time. Ollie, Chris and Josh are getting warmed up and they will be back shortly. In the meantime, please enjoy a wide shot of the AJ Bell Stadium.
just like you. Far more shocking than anything I ever knew. Right on cue. Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chopped up, he says I'm gonna win big. Choose not a life of imitation. Distant us into the reservation. Default the pistol that you pay for. Just pump the feeling that you stay for. In time I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west end. Knocked out before you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go write your message on the pavement. Burn so bright, I wonder what the wave meant. Kickstart the golden generate hub. Sweet talk but don't intimidate hub. Can't stop the gods from engineering. Feel no need for any interfering. Your image in the dictionary. This life is more than ordinary. Can I get you maybe even 3 of these? Coming from a space to teach you of the Pleiades. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. This life is more than just a read through. What? On your mark, ready, set, let's go. Dance floor pro, I know, you know, I go psycho when my new joint hit. Just can't sit, gotta get jiggy with it. Ooh, that's it, now honey, come ride. DKNY, all up in my eye. You got a Prada bag with a lot of stuff in it. Give it to your friend, let's spin. Everybody looking at me, glancing a kid. Wishing they was dancing a jig here with this handsome kid. Sick a cigar right from Cuba Cuba. I just bite it, it's for the look, I don't light it. Ill way to ammo on the hand, stay on play. Give it up, jiggy, make it feel like foreplay. Yo, my cardio is infinite. Big Willie style's all in it. Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it. What? You wanna ball with your kid? Watch your step, you might fall trying to do what I did. Mama, I'ma come close side in the middle of the club with the rubber dub. No love for the haters, mad cause I got floor seats at the Lakers. See me on the 50-yard line with the Raiders. Met Ali, he told me I'm the greatest. I got the fever for the flavor of a crowd pleaser. DJ play another from the Prince of this Your Highness. Only bad chicks riding my whip. South to the west, to the east, to the north. Bump my hips and watch them go off. And yes, sure, and you don't stop in the winter order. I makes it high, getting jiggy with them. Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it. 850 IS if you need a lift. Who's the kid in the drop? Who else? Will Smith. Living that life, some consider a myth. Rock from South Street to 125th. Women used to tease me, give it to me now nice and easy. Since I moved up like George and Wheezy, cream to the max. The sharks are circling, the water's getting clear. Smiling with his 6 rows, the Megalodon and Nero. They go out in schools.
And Tom Dunn sail with just the 1 try through John O'Ross, and a big second half needed from the Sharks as Rob Dupree kicks off. Sail going from right to left in this second half, and is a slightly scratchy restart. Josh McAnally forced to pick up for Bath, and happy to keep it in the forwards for now is Ben Spencer. setting up that caterpillar ruck. Be happy just to clear this one away. Bath leading by 14 points after a good first half performance. Simon Hammersley under the ball just inside his own half. First opportunity in this second half for Sale to get some possession. Cliff. Harrison carries in. Sale up on their own 10 metre line. Territory going to be important in this second half. The wind has been pretty steady all night, but it's starting to pick up a little bit more now, and Cliff kicks and that one's held up in the wind, and no one from a Bath shirt wants to collect it. It eventually falls into the hands of Josh Bayliss, the try scorer. Bath in possession just shy of the halfway line. Priestland on this right hand side, and it's gone forward. Josh McAnally knocking on, and Sale have got possession. Is JP Dupria. Sale in possession just inside the Bath half.
Yeah, both teams struggling with the wind again with the kicking battle, and luckily Sale turning over there with a nice kick, and Rob Dupree just dots one over the top now, and Simon Hammers, the bounce just doesn't go Sale's way, but dinks a little ball over there. Unfortunately, it was on, and just that bounce of the ball just didn't work as Priestland now gets back and looks to pin Sale back in their half, which he's found space nicely.
We saw that from Simon Hammersley last week, that nice little dink when he got the ball in, and Rob Dupria breaks through, and a chance here for Sale. He's got Priestland to beat on the right hand side. He gives it to Dupria, Jean-Luc Dupria. Sale up into the 22, back to Rob Dupria. The Dupria's combining brilliantly. Byron McGuigan, can Sale get on the scoreboard early in this second half, but the ball's flicked back inside. Sale still in possession. John O'Ross with the ball. Sale 5 metres out from the Bath line. Curtis Langdon carries. The first real opportunity in this second half for Sale. Cliff to Ross Harrison. Sale building nicely here after that excellent break from Rob Dupria. John O'Ross. Sale happy to keep it in the forwards for now. Cliff shepherding things. James Phillips this time carrying in. Slightly slow ball at the minute, and Ross Harrison chooses to pick and go as a Sale advantage. Bath coming offside, and perhaps an opportunity to try a set play, but for now Sale very happy directly in front of the post to keep the ball in the forwards. No advantage. Will come back for the penalty for not rolling away. Josh?
Yeah, it's been quite frantic, this, both in the first half, and now Sale are reaping the rewards of a great break there from Rob Dupree, but yeah, just caught. Bath came up just in a fragmented line in their kick chase, and Cliffy found Robbie, hit a great angle, and then it looked for all money like it was going to be an easy running, but Bath scrambled back well as Sale now are taking a tap and go. It's Dan Dupree, that is schoolboy rugby.
Easy try.
I had to call him out, and Dan Dupree is just tapped and gone. And if anyone's ever played schoolboy rugby, it's to give it to the biggest guy and just let him beat off a couple of defenders, and that is what's just happened. So Bath will be taking a long look at themselves with that one, I think.
That seems to happen a lot now. The teams are going for that tap from the 5 metres out, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone score it quite that easily, go over from there.
Well, I think usually the guy just gets it and puts his head down and charges straight. So there's about 6 Bath players all stood behind each other, and Dan Dupree just ran to the side. It was quite strange, but he's done it well. So it's pretty comical. Anyone who obviously can't watch the game, but that was quite comical, that try. So it's worth watching on the highlights.
Sale right back in this one early in this second half. 4 minutes into it, the Sharks cut the deficit to 9 points, and a chance here for Rob Dupria to convert his brother's try and bring that deficit within 7. This kick to the left hand side, 15 metres in from the touchline. Can Dupria cut this gap 5 minutes into this second half? Taking his time over this one, and he strikes it, and it's just snuck in on. Oh, look from here like that one might have been over, but touch judges say no, and it will remain a 9-point lead for Bath.
Yeah, just held up in the wind there. I think it looked a pretty good strike from. We were stood directly behind it, but yeah, just held up, and Bath aims to take a quick one here off the kickoff, but Byron McGuigan's covered it well and kicks away into the centre of the pitch. Not a great kick, slightly fragmented the Sale line there, but Reece Priestland just offloaded to Mercer on the halfway, and Sale have met him, and middle of the park here. It looked like they've got a bit of an overlap as they move out the back to Priestland, who fires another ball over the top.
Bath in possession, Rocketaguni given that offload on the inside and a chance for the visitors in this second half to get something going. Tom Dunn carrying for the visitors. Priestland. A long looping pass out onto the left-hand side. Looks like it's Max Clark breaking away down, Will Muir breaking away down there, and he's offload and has gone forward. It'd be a Sale ball. A nice break that, but it has eventually gone forward, and Sale have got the chance to regroup. Will Cliff on the ball to JP Dupree, a nice carry from him. I'm sure Sale would be very happy here to just slow the play down. Bath having a nice passage of play there, and Cliff very happy to try and clear this one into touch, but that wind's quite heavy now and it's not really gone anywhere. But Sale have managed to keep possession. John O'Ross coming over the ball, but it's been lost forward by Tom Roebuck, and it'll be a Bath ball, and slightly scrappy there, Josh.
Yeah, not a great exit there from Will Cliff. I think it's hard into the wind, but he probably should look for distance there. And Bath are really getting to the edge well. The fact getting the ball over the top. Sale wingers are coming up high, but they're leaving a lot of space in behind him. And Will Muir again finding some space. I think he tried out the back offload there, which in hindsight he's wishing he's kept hold of that, because it was a great break from him, made about 30 metres. But yeah, as I say, Bath finding a lot of joy in those edges, and something that Sale are going to have to come up with a plan quickly now, because it's 5 or 6 times now they've been caught out on that edge.
Will Muir and Preston again tonight, made his debut off the bench against Harlequins last week, keeping Joe Cockiner-Singer out with the Bath side. So certainly started his Bath career very well, in a chance here for the visitors just outside the Sale 22. Bath leading by 24 points to 15 here on Sharks Live. A relatively stable scrum from Bath, and Spencer happy to feed his fly half. And Matavesi crashes that one up the middle, tackled well by Rob Dupree. Bath just outside the Sale 22. Mercer gives it on the inside. Nice passage of play from the visitors. Spencer again, he goes to the shorthand side this time and gives it back to Matavesi, but the Sale defensive line is a good one. Rob Dupree getting up quickly and pushing the visitors back, but Bath build again. Just going through the phases, but they've been pushed back a little bit by Sale. And a nice step there from Tom de Glanville, but he's tackled, and it's eventually looked like it went forward initially, but it's been given backwards, and suddenly a long looping pass from Prieston's gone straight into the hands of Byron McGuigan. Some great defensive work there from the Sharks, and they've turned this one over. A bit of a loose pass from JP Dupree, and Rob Dupree forced to kick into the Bath 22, and de Glanville kicked this one back. A very, very scrappy passage of play there, and I think in the end Bath will probably be quite happy with that, considering they've gone back from the Sale 22.
Yeah, it was looking a bit precarious for them when Byron McGuigan intercepted that ball. Byron did a lot better there. I think didn't get too far ahead of the ball there, and Priestland probably a bit speculative there to try and get that ball over in these conditions. About a 30-metre pass there, but yeah, better defence there from Sale. They'll be happy with that. They got off the line with a bit more intent and really shut Bath down before their ball players could move the ball out wide. So better defensive set from Sale, but I'd say Bath probably happy that they're still camped to the Sale half.
Is it quite difficult chasing a game in these conditions when you're a few points behind, when the opposition can just use the win they've got and kick into your own half? It's almost a lot harder playing in these conditions to come back from such a deficit. Yeah,
definitely, but I think that's why it's so important that Sale got that early try, because once the clock keeps ticking over and you've got 14 points, but I think Sale aim to get back into within a score, and they've still got loads of time. There's still 29 minutes left or 31 minutes left of this game, so they're it's a lot tougher obviously, but it's shown actually that both teams want to keep the ball in hand. There are points out there to be gotten. Both defences have shown their fragility. It's something that Sale prided themselves on, but there's opportunities out there.
Josh Matavesi coming off there for Bath. Tian Schumann coming on for the visitors. An injury there, a bit of a blow there for Bath. Matavesi, quite an important part of their back lines, but off injured here, and Sale win the line out. John O'Ross getting up well then, and they're happy to drive in the maul for now. Langdon with possession at the back of that maul, and Dan Dupree comes in to protect Langdon. Not really going anywhere at the moment, very happy to keep this at the back of the maul when Cliff fishes that one out. And Sale use the backs. Rob Dupree out to Hamsley on this left hand side. Sale up towards the halfway line. Slow ball for now. Will Cliff He's got his forward to the right of him, and James Phillips pops it up to Dan Dupria. Looks like we could be setting up for another kick here, but territory so important in conditions like this, and Cliff, one of the best box kickers in the Premiership, and happy to give this ball back to Bath inside their own half. De Glanville runs that one back, a slight hint of a high tackle, but it wasn't given. But eventually Sale do concede the penalty for not rolling away Simon Hamsley on the floor down there, and it'll be a Bath penalty inside their own half and a chance to get some more territory for the visitors.
Yeah, it looked like a high tackle anyway under Glanville there. It was a bit of a soft one, that for Sale. It was, they just slowed the ball down in the middle of the pitch there. I think the communications get in whether they wanted to kick or to move the ball. Initially, it was a good launch play from the backs off that set piece, but yeah, just slowing their own ball down in that middle part of the pitch, and it allows the Bath defence to get set. But it looks like they got a reprieve here with the kick not making touch here.
Great work from Simon Hamsley to keep that one in. Bit of a speculative kick from Ben Spencer, and it hasn't gone into touch, and Sale keep possession. They are inside their own 22. A hint of an offside there from Bath. It looked quite a lot offside actually, but nothing given from Christoph Ridley, so Sale forced to set up that caterpillar ruck again. Will Cliff to box kick away. I'm sure he'll be looking for the touchline here. He will. A good kick from Will Cliff, and it'll be a Bath line out inside the Sale 22. I do wonder, Josh, with different referees, obviously last week Luke Pearce is very quick on that back of the ruck, get the ball out. Do you have to adapt to each referee and how they ref the game in situations like that?
Yeah, you know pretty early on actually how the referee will probably have a discussion before the game saying I'm going to speed you up at the breakdown, and it's probably as conditions like this, it tends, not that they'd go into the match, the referees saying that they're going to give nines a bit more time, but just with the way the conditions are, yeah, you just adapt as you say. You get an impression early on in how long the referee will take in that area.
Some reinforcements on for Sale. Faf de Klerk on for Will Cliff, and both props changed. Will Griff John and Valerie Morozov on. Morozov for his first appearance under Pat Alexanderson, and Bath try chip over the top from that line out. And they've somehow managed to retain possession. It was all a bit scrappy at one stage, and they've got the ball and they go to that left-hand side, and kick put through by Max Clark, and is well taken by Faf de Klerk, and he kicks that ball back into the Bath half. Reece Priestland takes possession out to Rock and Taguni. He's got a bit of space. He managed to get round the initial Sale defensive line, but good work by John O'Rosh and J.P. Dupria to pull the former England man to the floor. Done. He carries up to the halfway line to Priestland on this left hand side, and Bath have gone back a little bit there. They try and run it from their own half, and it's Muir out on that left hand side again. Bath keeping possession for now. Priestland has gone around on that right hand side, and Schumann with an early carry since coming onto the pitch, and there's a good counter ruck from Sale. They've managed to turn this one over, but it has gone forward. A bit unlucky there, Josh, to knock that on, but it is a Bath scrum, and slightly frustrating when you've got that chance, you think you've got the turnover, and then to lose possession like that.
Yeah, looking at it, there's a great counter by Jean-Luc Dupree there as he got back to his feet. He looked like he was going for the ball, but instead just drove through the ruck, and yeah, just unfortunate. James Phillips went to pick it up and just knocked it on. But I think Bath actually looked like they had some really nice attacking shape there. They're moving the Sale defence around quite well, and I think that's something that Sale probably needs to do a bit more in this half, is to try and get into the game, is keep hold of the ball. I think Sale were probably looking a bit leggy, hence why the replacements have come on earlier than anticipated, but then usually they would come on. So I think Sale probably needs to kick the ball out less. I think it's actually worked quite well when they've just booted it as long as they can back down the middle of the pitch and let Bath run back and just try and back their defence to turn over some ball.
Ewan Ashman on for Sale. Excellent last week when he came on at Bristol, made a real difference, and a chance here with 27 minutes to go to have a real impact on this game. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Sharks Live here from the AJ Bell Stadium. Sale Sharks 15, Bath 24. Just a look ahead to when we're next here in 2 weeks' time for the visit of Exeter, and then on that following Saturday we are at Haywood Road for Sale Sharks women against Harlequins women. So make sure you join us for that if you are listening and enjoying the coverage tonight. The Bath scrum on the halfway line, pretty central. Attacking options either way. Reece Prieston stood directly behind the scrum, not really committing to what side they're going to go quite yet. A first chance for the new Sale props to get into this game. Not been particularly strong at the scrum so far, Sale, but that looks relatively solid from both sides. And Valerie Morozov's got a bit of a push on here, and it's probably Sale's best scrum of the night, but it has come out on the Bath side. And Schumann, who's been in the game a lot so far, is tackled hard by John O'Ross. Bath retain possession. Dunn carries in, a try scorer earlier tonight. Slow ball for now, and it comes out to Priestland, who tries that chip over the top. Both teams have tried that to good effect so far, but covered well by Simon Hamsley, but he's tackled into touch by Will Muir, and a little win there for Bath, Josh.
Yeah, it was a nice little dink over there from Priestland. It was obviously a pre-planned move because the backs outside were on the roll, and there was a good kick chase. Probably Simon Hamsley there just might have looked to just try and keep his look to go around Muir on the outside, but he didn't have a great deal of space to deal with. And good tackle by Will Muir, who's been impressive tonight on the wing for Bath.
Certainly has, as we said earlier, had a big impact at the start of his Bath career, and as Josh said, not really much Simon Hamsley can do there apart from get tackled into touch, and it'll be a Bath line out on the Sale 10-metre line. 3 tries for the visitors so far tonight, searching for that bonus point, but Sale only 9 points behind, and plenty of time in this one. Didn't look quite straight to Josh McInally, but Bath keep the ball, and they try that chip over the top again. It's a bit scrappy, and it could fall into the Bath hand here, but Simon Hamsley does well to cover that, and Sale are in possession. De Klerk gives it to Morozov for his first touch. A good carry from the Russian. Sale still inside that 22, and Faf de Klerk tries a quick box kick, but it's not really gone anywhere, and it's very scrappy. It's a penalty to Bath. I think it could be for not quite sure what that's for, maybe for an offside, but a massive win there for Bath, and an opportunity here for Prieston to outkick it goal.
That's what's been about that first half, is that retreating the 10 metres, and we wondered if it was the referee is going to be consistent, and actually I think because Sale were exiting out there 22, that's where he's paying attention more, where the others in the first half are in the middle of the pitch. But yeah, a great win for Bath there. As we said, they're just last couple of launches have just gone for that little dink over the top just to put Sale under pressure and get huge amounts of line speed and numbers at that first breakdown to really pressurise that. And it's difficult for the guys at the back because they get caught man on ball, and there's not much you can do. You can't boot it out because it's so windy. And yeah, it's good game management by Reece Priestland.
Experienced player Reece Priestland on the way back to Wales next year to play for Cardiff Blues. Wales tried to call him up for this Six Nations, but were told they weren't allowed, and Bath are very happy to have him here tonight, and he and Ben Spencer certainly having a big impact for the visitors as they look to win here again after winning at the AJ Bell in September last year. Can Priestland extend their lead to 12 points? Just outside the 22 to the right hand side, and Priestland steps up, and it looks good. It's pretty central, and it is, and it's over, and Bath extend their lead to 12 points, and the visitors are really on top in this one. It's Sale Sharks 15, Bath 27.
He's looked very solid off the tee tonight, Reece Priestland. He's not looked like missing one, and I think that's what Bath will look to do. Just look to put pressure on Sale and pin them back in the half, and you'll find the next couple of penalties if they get. If they're in similar areas, and Priestland will just be knocking them over, and just this lead will keep growing, and we'll get away from Sale.
Not taken well at the kickoff there by Bath, and Byron McGuigan's got the ball, and Sale are outside the Bath 22 almost immediately. A knock on both ways, so it will be a Bath scrum. Initially Christoph Ridley looked like he'd given that one to Sale, but the visitors will have the put in, and after a slightly scrappy. There's a Sale ball. No, it's a Sale ball. That
Is it Sale ball?
Yeah, I think he has given a Sale ball.
Five different ways.
I think at one stage there was arms going both ways, but I think it is a Sale ball.
Faf de Klerk has his hands on the ball, which is a promising sign from a Sale point of view. So Yeah, it was a good kick-off actually by Rob Dupree, just put it over that pod who McNally went up, and as I've been in that position on a windy night, it's really difficult to track a ball, and he probably did a good job trying to stay down there, because going up on a pod you've got to get it kind of inch perfect in terms of in catching the ball, so he better staying down, but it was a good chase, and Byron McGuigan as well just slotted in behind him now. So they're in a good position just outside of 22 where the bats can hopefully launch an attack.
Matavesi back on for Bath. It must have been a HIA he'd gone off for, so the centre back onto the field, and Sale with a really good opportunity here to try and get back into this game, and Sam Hill takes the ball up, an excellent carry from the centre, and Sale into the Bath 22. De Klerk. Dan Dupree carries this one up well. Some good intense carrying from the Sharks so far. Up inside the Bath 22 is John-Luc Dupree this time doing the carrying. De Klerk happy to keep it in the forwards for now. Valery Morozov. Sale come out to this left-hand side. Rob Dupree to Hill. He carries in again. A good quick defensive line from Bath, and they've pushed Sale back a little bit here to outside the 22, but Sale still in possession. Dan Dupree again. More good defensive work from Bath. Sale gone backwards a little bit here. They've kept the ball, and Rob Dupree tries that kick to the right-hand side. Tom Roebuck was out there, just a little bit too much on it. It worked well in the first half from Rob Dupree, that chip kick, but it didn't work well there, and it'll be a Bath ball.
Yeah, Sale have actually had a lot of joy over the last few weeks using that chip kick, and it was just a bit too much on it. I think it's gone out on the full, but yeah, if it just held up a bit more, it would have gone straight into Roebuck's hand. But yeah, probably Sale would have, I think, liked to just keep hold of the ball a bit more. They didn't really test the Bath defence there. They're quite one-out runners, and maybe they need to shift the point of attack, a few balls out the back from the forwards, and move this Bath defence wide to wide. Something that Bath have done well all game really.
20 minutes to go in this one, a bit of a break in proceedings. Sale trailing in this one by 12 points. Bath, the leaders here, by 27 points to 15. No more subs at this stage for Sale, but the two replacement front rows are on. Faf de Klerk's on. Could be a few more changes coming up potentially in this second half, but Bath very happy to leave their players out on the pitch at the minute. I suppose, Josh, as well, when you're winning, it's hard to know what to do. Do you bring those extra reinforcements on, or you keep the players that have been doing it? You don't want to mess the structure up too much. Yeah,
exactly. I'd just keep them on unless they're really struggling, in the legs, or there's an injury, or one of them's got a knock. Then, you look at that spine of the team from Bath. Tom Dunn at hooker, McNally the captain, Mercer, Priestland. You want, those guys have controlled the game well tonight. So they're the experienced Ben Spencer as well at scrum half. So I think they'll be looking at full 80s if I was Stuart Hooper.
Sale in possession just inside their own half after that clearance kick from Bath, and it's gone down that right hand side, and slightly scrappy from Sale, but Johnny Ross has got the ball after a good offload from Dan Dupree inside, and the Sharks in possession inside the Bath half. Another chance to try and build something here. A little pop pass to Hammersley, but he's tackled well. Sale still in possession just inside the Bath half. John O'Ross. Again, is a good quick defensive line from Bath. They've been good at that so far tonight. JP Dupree this time. Up towards the Bath 10 metre line in the centre of the field, and De Klerk to this left-hand side. Sam Hill tries to give the offload. Could well have gone forward, but it hasn't, and Byron McGuigan comes up with the ball. Sale still in possession. That's Will Griff John, his first touch of the night. Dupree using the backs now, and they wrap around a little bit, and Hammersley tries to find a gap, and he almost does. Simon Hammersley close there to breaking through the line. A nice move there from Sale, and they keep possession. Will Griff John. Sale slowly moving up towards the Bath 22 metre line. James Phillips carries this time. Going through the phases here are Sale. John-Luc Dupree, Sale up to the Bath 22. Will Griff John again, he's carried a couple of times in this passage of play, and Sale are slowly moving closer to the Bath line. Probably one of Sale's best passages of play in this second half, but his slow ball out to Rob Dupree on the right hand side, and Hill gives a long looping pass out to Roebuck, who tries to step inside, but he's tackled well by Josh Bayliss, and it's slightly slow ball again, and Sale keeping in the forwards. John-Luc Dupree. Factor Clerk falling to the floor there as he tries to get that one out. John-Luc Dupree. Long passage of play. The lungs are certainly be gasping in defence and attack. Can Sale find that crucial passage of play to try and get back into this one? Valerie Morozov, the forwards, doing lots of work here, lots of carrying here for Sale. JP Dupree. Sale not really going anywhere on the field in terms of distance towards the Bath line, and John-Luc Dupree tries a little offload out the back, and it hasn't quite worked, and Rocco Daguni is up on Hammersley, and Bath pressure well, and they've turned the ball over, and Zach Mercer breaking away down this right hand side, and Sale having to scramble a little bit here, but it's been intercepted by Rob Dupree, and Sale come away this time. This game really breaking up. Sale in possession still. Dan Dupree, and he breaks a little tackle. This Sale up towards the Bath 10 metre line. Josh, this game has got really frantic in these last 5 minutes. We haven't had a break at all in play, and Sale just trying to get some possession back on the ball.
I'll come in because I think you're getting a bit tired holiday. It's been a crazy kind of last 2 or 3 minutes play, but now Sale, look, I've got some width out wide. Sam Hill, the bounce pass finds Roebuck, who's got some space here on the outside, and cuts in. He's looked sharp all night, actually. Tom Roebuck on that wing, and Rob Dupree comes and steps in at 9. And Val Morris of another strong carry. Bath actually aren't competed very hard at breakdown. That's why it looks quite hard for Sale to break down. Bath have a lot of numbers on the feet and a lot of players line, but it looks like there might be an opportunity here for Simon Hammersley as he finds a soft shoulder, but again a good tackle there. And it's Sale getting closer and closer, about 10 metres out now.
As Josh said, Sale 10 metres out from the Bath line. Really need to score here, Sale, if to have any chance in this one. And De Klerk keeps it in the forwards for now. Morozov carries again. Both of Sale's replacement props have carried a few times since coming on. De Klerk sensing the importance of this one, keeps the ball slow for now. And John-Luc Dupree carries in. Sale inside the Bath 22. Good quick defensive line from Bath coming up quickly there, and Sale have been pushed backwards again, and Valerie Morozov forced to carry, and again it's good defensive work from Bath, as Josh said, not really competing at the breakdown, and it's really helping them push back this Sale attack. Sale still inside the Bath 22 is defensive line from Bath. We saw 2 weeks ago Bath how much they struggled to defend against Bristol, but they've been much better tonight, and Sale go around the back with the backs again, and Hill. It's a little pop pass to Sale's try scorer John O'Ross. And there's a turnover, holding on. What a moment for Bath. Sale in possession for a long period of time there, and what a blow that is, Josh, having so much possession and so much territory in the last 5 to 10 minutes, and Bath turned this one over, and a really important moment there for the visitors.
Yeah, that's a huge momentum or gainer for Bath there. They defended well. I think Sale just got quite limited in their attack there. They suddenly got narrow at the start of that huge passage of play. They looked in good shape. They were spreading Bath, and then, as I said, Bath, I think, tactic maybe going into the game is that they're very disciplined and not going in at the breakdown, losing too many numbers there, and it was a great defensive shift from the whole Bath 15 there, just to keep Sale out. It looked like they got close a couple of times, but yeah, they good turnover there by McNally, I think.
Some reinforcements for Bath. Jamie Batty, the Scottish international, and Henry Thomas, the 7-cap England international, coming on for the visitors. And I just wonder, Josh, what could Sale have done a little bit different there when things did get a little bit static? We've seen tonight Rob Dupree has tried the chip over the top. Could that have been an option? Was there anything?
I just think they need to quicken the ball at the breakdown up. I think it's obviously wide to wide, and Rob had to go in at 9 a couple of times, and yeah, when they got that quick ball and the momentum, they looked sharp, but then just a couple of moments it just slowed down, and the forwards had to reload back on the feet. And then towards the end of that passage there, I think Val Morozov got caught a couple of times just standing still and got driven back. And then once you're on the back foot there, it's difficult to then get front foot ball again. It takes a couple of really big carries, which they got in that passage, but probably just not being quick enough at that breakdown, I'd say.
couple more changes for Sale. Matt Poppleswaite and AJ McGinty coming on, and a last real throw of the dice here for Sale to try and get something from this one. But it's Bath in possession inside the Sale half, searching for that bonus point try. They've defended for a lot of this second half, but finally getting some ball inside the Sale half, and I think Ben Spencer will be very happy here to play some territory, setting up for the box kick and to try and pin Sale back deep inside their own half. And it hasn't really worked. These box kicks in the second half haven't gone anywhere on either side, and this time it's Bath penalised. We've seen that a couple of times, Josh, and these box kicks in this second half just haven't worked, have they, at all?
I think someone's reminded the referee at half-time about that law, because it wasn't refereed in the first half, and in the second half, obviously Bath were awarded a penalty, and now Sale have been awarded a penalty, of which they've missed touch here. So, disappointing outcome there. It's just landed in dead ball area, so it's going to be a 22, but yeah, probably just trying to force it there, trying to work too far up the pitch, where I should have taken a bit less off that, and but Sale will get the ball back, but it'll just probably in their own half now off his 22, and Reece Priestland using experience. He's not in any rush here, just amble back up to the 22 here.
It's a tricky balance, isn't it? We saw in that Ireland game last week with Billy Burns when he kicks it dead. What do you go as a forward? Obviously, you want to be 5 metres out, but you want the line out. It's difficult, isn't it? How you choose to go there? Yeah,
it is difficult, especially in these windy conditions. You're just thinking, actually, just get it into touch.
Faf de Klerk with the up and under, but it's gone into the Bath 22, and Reece Priestland very happy to call the mark, very happy to slow this game down, and the clock ticking down on Sale's chances here, looking for a 5th Premiership win in a row for the first time since 2006. Bath trying to arrest a slump in form, which has seen them lose 4 in a row. If they lost again tonight, they'd have lost 5 in a row for the first time since 2002. But at the moment, the visitors are coming here and winning again. They did so last year, towards the back end of the last season. Very different sides that day. That was an important game in the race for the playoffs. Today it's all about playing for position in the relatively early stages of the season. Sale with a line out on the halfway line. JP Dupree comes up and takes the ball well. Sale's line out certainly functioning a lot better at this stage of the season, and Ewan Ashman did have his hands on the ball, but he's lost it, and Bath can break away, and has gone on the inside to Matavesi, who breaks into the Sale half. A chance here for Bath to add to that bonus point try, and it's de Glanville who's hauled down just short of the line, and Sale has managed to turn that one over. At one stage it looked as if de Glanville was going to go in and score his second try of the game, but great scramble work from Sale, and this time the Sharks can break away. Another frantic passage of play. Bath's first real chance for a while, but Sale scrambled well. The defence has been much better in this second half from the Sharks, and Faf de Klerk clear this one away with a box kick. Sale not really wanting to get rid of possession at this stage, but they're so deep inside their own half, and that's what Sale wanted. The break there. Reece Priestland knocking this one on, in a little glimmer of hope there, Josh, and something that Sale needed.
Yeah, we talked about momentum shifts before with Bath, with that awesome phase play defensive win they had about 10 minutes ago, and that could just be the little pick me up that Sale are after that knock on there. But I think it's a great bit of defensive play by Conor Docherty here. He's tracked back and then just poached the ball. Actually, it just popped out slightly, and he was there and looked pretty legal. It didn't at the time, but I think the referee was right there. So hopefully that might be the little boost that Sale need here, and obviously the break came from Matavesi again, who's looked pretty dangerous all night. He looked good ball in hand.
Alex Gray coming on for Bath, former NFL tight end for the Atlanta Falcons, of course, played in the Premiership a little bit before that, but he's on for his second stint in the Premiership, this time with Bath, and we'll have another break in play. And Josh, if it is a defeat tonight, what will Alex Sanderson take away from this? What will be said in the week about what didn't quite go to plan?
Obviously, the plan looks great all week, and I'm sure every team prepares well. I just think, I'm sure he'll learn a lot about maybe the way we prepared. We put our win last week against Bristol away straight away, because we come in straight away and review the game and move on. I think it's a hard when it happens in sport, when you're coming off and Bath. You look at the form table, you think Sale win it'll be a Sale win tonight. But Bath are a strong team, have come out fighting. So look,
no easy games in the Premiership.
No, there's not at all. And we need that. And it's what we've spoken about all week, and about sticking to our process. And Sale, just won another scrum penalty there. So hopefully, we finished strong in the last 2 games. So hopefully, there's still a bit of time for us to come back into this game now.
Luke James coming on for Sale. Simon Hamsley going out onto the wing, and it'll be Tom Roebuck coming off. Hamsley, of course, played on the wing earlier in the season for a couple of games before his injury, so a bit of a reshuffle of the Sale back line as they go in search of trying to get something from this game, and a good steady line out, and Dan Duprier carries up onto the Bath 10-metre line. 8 minutes to go in this one, Bath leading by 27 points to 15. Not the best pass from Faf de Klerk, and Simon Hamsley's pushed back towards the halfway line, and again hasn't quite gone to plan when it's gone wide for Sale so far. But John O'Ross has found a bit of space on the blind side, carrying well again. Sale's try scorer. De Klerk, Morozov, round the corner to McGinty, he tries a dummy. Carried up by Ewan Ashman. Sale in possession, McGinty again, he tries that chip over the top to the winger, but it's gone out on the fall. Nowhere near Byron McGuigan really, and I don't think you could criticise AJ McGinty for that. He does that so well, that little chip over the top, and hasn't quite worked there, and Sale perhaps guilty of trying to chase the game a little bit with 8 minutes to go. Understandable really, but still trailing in this one. And Josh, when do attention start? Still 8 minutes to go, you can still win the game. When do you start thinking about with just that bonus point?
I think now it's you think you're thinking you've got to score soon as possible, and your best outcome's a bonus point. You're still thinking get the score now, and you still got time to go and win the game. But I think you're into the last 10 minutes. You're thinking you need something out of the game, and to do that, you've got to score pretty quickly here. So I think from about 10 on, you're always thinking when you're more than a score behind. That's when you really start to up the ante, and I think AJ probably there just forced it slightly. Last week it came off, this week it didn't, like most things tonight from a Sale point of view.
Bath with the line out. Tom Dunn taken well by Josh McAnally, and Mercer gives a little offload before he's about to be tackled to Matavesi, and Bath in possession. Spencer again setting up for the box kick. Bath just don't want to be playing in their own half here, and why would they? They're leading by 12 points in this one. That's probably the best box kick we've seen in this second half, and Byron McGuigan does a cracking job to make the take, and Sale are in possession, but they are inside their own half. Morozov carries again. De Klerk, right hand side towards McGinty, he attacks the line, but he's tackled well by Priestland. Sale still in possession. De Klerk uses the short side. 7 minutes to go in this one, and Sale inside their own half, and looks like Faf de Klerk's going to play the territory here, try and pin Bath back a little bit. Better kick from de Klerk there, and Simon Hamsley tries to take that one. He can't gather it cleanly, but it has come back on the Sale side, and Sale have got an advantage from the knock-on, so a little win there for Sale. De Klerk's kick was a good one. 2 good box kicks there, one from Spencer and one from de Klerk, and I suppose that's what you're hoping for from a situation like that with the...
Yeah, it's a Sale win, but I think Bath, again, it won't be too disappointed with that outcome is. In these windy conditions, the ball's been flying around all night, and Bath looks. I think Josh McNally has taken a knee there, just trying to eat a bit of time, which is what you do in this situation. And 6 minutes on the clock, and Sale, although they have the ball on the halfway, they need to do something off his scrum, or either get a penalty or get a backs launch that'll lead them up the pitch here. So time's running out here, and I think Bath are looking pretty comfortable in their defensive shape at the moment, are dealing with Sale well.
I don't never want to lose a game, Josh, but can sometimes in a long season matches like this help you learn about the team, about what to improve on? Because if you're going to lose a game, I guess you never want to lose, but it can help a little bit. You can look at what went wrong and for next week and what's to come later in the year. Yeah,
definitely. And since Alex has come in, we've been doing a lot of kind of looking at who we are and as a team, and getting to know each other a lot more, and that's kind of gone hand in hand with 2 wins, so it's always a lot easier. Where, as you say, we'll see some positives out of this if the result doesn't go our way, where we can, in the tough times after tough defeats, disappointing defeats, and how guys bounce back and how we react.
Not quite over this one yet, but Sale need to find something here, and it's come out to Luke James on this left-hand side. He's got Byron McGuigan outside him, and James keeps possession for now. Sale up towards the Bath 22, de Klerk to John O'Ross. A good carry from the Sale captain, a real last chance here for Sale to try and win this game if they can, and McGinty gives the short pass to Will Griff John. Sale searching for that try to get themselves back in this one, and de Klerk gives the inside ball to Dan de Preer, who breaks through, and it'll be a try for Dan de Preer. What a lovely move from Faf de Klerk, a little inside ball, bit of magic from the South African, and Dan de Preer goes over, and that's why you want Faf de Klerk on the rugby field, Josh.
Exactly, yeah, he was, I was just about to say outside, it didn't look like many numbers, and it would have been a great call from Dan de Preer, who's seen that from the blind side. He would have called that play, and Faf executed well, and Dan de Preer's in for his second try tonight.
As Josh said, executed brilliantly by Faf de Klerk. I'm not sure there are many other players in world rugby who'd have seen that and pulled it off like Faf de Klerk, but we are just going to check this one.
They're just checking a forward pass there. There was a scream from the back side saying forward pass, so it did come out. I don't know. It was a screen from the sideline off forward from that side of the pitch. As I think Christoph Ridley comes to the big screen and is having a closer look.
Jeff Fisher, the TMO tonight. Trevor Fisher, sorry, and Christoph Ridley now going up to have a look. It's close, certainly close.
I think this one will be pulled back. I think it's although it's come out the back of the hand backwards, I think it has drifted forward. So I think this one will get pulled back for a forward pass here. I could be wrong.
Would be a shame, wouldn't it? Yeah, looking at that angle again, this probably will be overturned. A real shame that, because a moment of brilliance from Faf de Klerk, but we're still waiting to hear what Christoph Ridley's saying. He has pulled this one back, and that probably ends Sale's chances of a win tonight. Obviously still an opportunity to get a losing bonus point, but Bath retain their 12-point lead, and I'm just happy to run the clock down here, won't they, from this scrum?
I think pretty much sums the night up for Sale. That the one, thought they were backing it with a sublime bit of play from Faf, but right call was made, forward pass, and Sale still hope. There's a scrum, and they've had a couple of good penalties off the last couple of scrums, so they'll look to have a go here, and it's important now that Sale don't kind of keep calm heads, but be really aggressive at the scrum to try and get it back. I think the referee will be looking at Sale coming out the blocks here quite quickly, so you often see penalties go against the attacking team here.
As Josh said, Sale will be really pushing to try and get some kind of penalty here, but it's a relatively solid scrum. But Bath have looked to have got a bit of go forward on that left-hand side, and a big cheer from Zach Mercer. We've got a full-time result from Kingsholm, Gloucester 17, Bristol 18. So a win down there for top of the table Bristol. So they'll extend their lead at the top tonight. Sale, as things stand, will stay in third with, of course, Exeter to play later this weekend. And we saw an outpouring of emotion there from Zach Mercer. Obviously a tough couple of weeks for Bath with everything going on. And if they do hold on tonight, it'll be a big win for them. And an excellent touch finder from that penalty. Byron McGuigan trying to keep that one in, and Bath very close to their first win in 5 games. 3.5 minutes to go in this one. Tom Dunn still on the field. He's got blood streaking down his neck. He's had a good game tonight. Some relief for Stuart Hooper as well. The Bath head coach been under some pressure recently, but it looks as if they will come away with a win tonight. Dunn throws into the line-out, a relatively clean line-out from the visitors, and they look to start a drive in more when they've got the penalty advantage here. So often you see one penalty and then another. Well, maybe it isn't penalty advantage. It looked as if at one stage Christoph Ridley had his arm out, but Bath comes to this left-hand side, and Matavesi gives a long looping pass out towards the left-hand side, and we will come back for the penalty, drag down at the line out, and it's just a matter of time here now, Josh, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
didn't really need to do that there. They'd won the ball pretty cleanly, and clear penalty goes on his arm there as JP Dupree. So yeah, Bath had a shot at nothing there and try again, almost find that width again off that free shot there. But yes, Ben Spencer now with a kick, he's just going to pin Sale, and I think that's pretty much the game. It's a long way to go up the pitch with only 2 minutes to play into a howling gale.
Just a couple of minutes ago, it looks as if Sale might cut the deficit with that Dan Dupree try, but instead is Bath looking for that bonus point, that try bonus point. They came here last season and won with a try bonus point. Can they do so again tonight with just under 2 minutes to go in this one? Tom Dunn to throw in again. I'm sure they'll be just happy to get this one down and drive this more towards the Sale line. Minute half to go, Bath leading by 27 points to 15. JP Dupree tries to get up, but to no avail, and Bath have possession, and they're going to try a driving maul. Dunn at the back of that maul. McAnally shepherding things well, and it's fallen to floor. Looks as if it was Bath who brought it to floor, but they're in possession, and Dunn comes off the back of the maul. Bath in possession inside the Sale 22. They haven't really been down here much in this second half. Most of the good work being done in the first half, and slow ball for now. Mercer. Can Sale try and force a turnover here? Matt Poffelsfate was over the ball, but told to leave it by Christoph Ridley. Just pick and go for Bath for now, running that clock down. Under a minute to go, 50 seconds. Miles Reed at the base of the ruck this time. John O'Ross trying to force some kind of turnover from the tackle, but nothing really Sale can do here. Bath don't seem too intent on trying to go for that bonus point, despite the fact they're in the Sale 22. And it's a turnover ball, so Sale will have a chance to try and get something from this, Josh.
Yeah, I think Bath are in two minds now, whether they want to go for the bonus point or kill the game. And it's a long way to pick and go from the 22-metre line. And fair play to Sale, they fronted up really well in defence and got that turnover. And on the whole, it's much better second half performance here by Sale. On the scoreboard, the lead in the second half. I think they just left themselves, as we said just before we went to the break, that left themselves a bit too much to do. But one last chance to try and get something from the game, which will hopefully lead to a positive going into next week here.
As Josh said, one last chance here for Sale. Is a scrappy line out, but Sale have got the ball, and AJ McGinty trying to make something happen. Sale need a try here to get a losing bonus point from this one, but they're going to have to go from inside their own half to do so. De Klerk, Hammersley at first receiver, gives it to Poffelsfate on the inside. De Klerk again coming out to this left-hand side. McGinty tries a long looping pass, and Ashman's out on this side, and a great carry from Ashman, the replacement hooker. He's had a bit of an impact since coming on. Can Sale find that crucial score? JP Dupree. Sale in possession. Slight hint of offside from that Bath defensive line. They did get up quickly, but no advantage coming from Christoph Ridley, and Sale have to do it the hard way. And Faf de Klerk, McGinty. Sale up past the Bath 10-metre line. Going through the phase there, and they have got a penalty advantage, which is important, so they can kick this ball deep into the Bath 22. Yeah,
better from Sale there. The team that's moved the defence from wide to wide tonight. They've had a lot of reward, and Sale just showed up there. And fair play, stuck at it, and they've worked their way up just to inside the Bath 22. So another good opportunity to come into this 22, and hopefully this time come away with some points.
One last chance here then for Sale. Need to get this line out right, searching for this losing bonus point. A try would get Sale that, and they would probably deserve it on the basis of this second half. As Josh said, it's definitely been a better second half performance, and just looking to get this line out right. Ashman to throw in at the line out, and a good take from JP Dupree, and Sale will set up the maul and try and see if they can drive this towards the Bath line. Bath have done well so far to repel the drive, so De Klerk comes up to the back of the Moor. Sale are going to have to use the backs here. De Klerk. Little short ball to Conor Doherty. De Klerk again. Ross carries hard. Sale's try scorer tonight. Jean-Luc Dupree this time carrying in for Sale. De Klerk switches the direction and McGinty tries a step, and can he burst through the middle? It's on the inside to Cam Neild. Sale have added a late consolation here. They will get that losing bonus point. It's well deserved, I think, based on this second half, and at least Josh, something to take into next week. A point, a try for Cam Neild, and it's probably deserved based off this second half, I think.
Yeah, I think on the second half deserved. Obviously, Sale lads are still be massively disappointed just with that. The first half showing just gave away too many easy points. I think of 2 tries, which was very soft, but fair play to the guys, especially the bench that came on. I think they made a real impact in the second half, and kept fighting towards the end. And I think that will please the Sale coaches and the Sale players, is that they stuck at it. Okay, not our night from a Sale point of view, but at least we get something from the game. To come away with nothing at home is a real kick in the teeth. So there is that positive.
As Josh said, some positives there is AJ McGinty adds the conversion, but it is a victory for Bath by 27 points to 22 here at the AJ Bell Stadium tonight. A tough outing for your Sharks, but a late bonus point from a Cam Neild try, but it is Bath who are the visitors. Thanks to Josh for joining us tonight, I appreciate it. Any final words, Josh, on
I
the
think
performance?
just fair play to Bath. I think we've been there as professionals when you've come off a couple of tough defeats, and it shows probably a lot about their squad, that they've rallied together with a lot of players away and come up here, and I thought they especially the first half they attacked well, and some of the kick chasing and territory battle they probably won, and disappointed from a Sale point of view, but at least a point, but on the whole probably a fair result in the end.
Absolutely, Josh, and thanks for joining us, and good luck next week.
Okay, thanks a lot.
So Chris, a defeat in the end for Sale. Not the result they'd have wanted, but a late bonus points to take from the game. And I think, as Josh said, you've just got to give credit to Bath.
Yeah, excellent performance from Bath. I'm sure when they saw the Sale team listed when it was announced 24 hours ago, their hopes would have been raised just by the number of players who've come into this Sale side tonight with so little match practice. And that's not about being a good rugby player, it's just about minutes on the field of play. And a lot of the players who had a start tonight have had very limited minutes in recent weeks. That gives you a lack of chance to work on your match sharpness, but also combinations, understanding, all those elements. And if you have a team like Bath who've been beaten 4 weeks on the spin, you're going to be determined that it's not 5. And as you said, it would have been a record going back some years that they've lost 5 in a row. They were determined tonight. They named a very similar side to the one beaten by Harlequin, so they had the benefit of continuity. Alex Anderson clearly elected to give other players a run out tonight. He wants to look at his full squad. As you said, it's still in the first half of the season, so a defeat wasn't going to be absolutely cataclysmic for their hopes of a top 4 finish. But the risk was always that bit higher if you're going to bring players in who've had a lack of game time. And because we haven't got the European competition to give players game time, and we haven't got the Premiership Rugby Cup this year, the only chance you've got is to put them in a Gallagher Premiership match. So there was always going to be that element of risk in the selection that was made, but against that was the benefit of giving players game time and the chance for Alex Sanderson to have a look at who he's got and what his squad are about, and as you and Josh talked about in the second half, any lessons that it might give. So I think Sale were competitive to the end. They've got that losing bonus point, and I think if you'd have said 5 games ago there'd be 4 victories and 1 losing bonus point, I think every Sale fan listening to us tonight would have said, go on then, I'll take that after an in and out first 4 games of the season. So good end with Cam Neild's try, and attention now turns to next week.
As you said, Chris, it's a tricky balance to try and decide how you choose that team, and 10 changes is a lot, isn't it? It's a lot from that team that went down to Bristol last night. I think when I saw Sam James wasn't on the team sheet, usually on there every single week, it is a lot of changes in it, and it is going to lead to a performance like that, as you can see on occasions. In Bath, obviously delighted with the win. They've been under some pressure, but it also shows as well, I think, that there is no easy games in the Premiership. Any team can beat anyone on their day, and Bath have come here tonight and put in a very accomplished performance.
Well, a few weeks ago, Bristol absolutely destroyed Bath. Sale then went down to Bristol and beat them. And so you'd say if you follow that logic through, Sale should beat Bath very comfortably. And of course, Bath have come here and won. And of course, you get huge variation in selection, don't you? As we've said, the Six Nations plays a part, and rotation in the case of Sale's pick tonight. But look at those 3 results. There's no logic to that in the way that they have worked through. So there's a lot of rugby still to be played, Ollie. This is match 9 of a 22-match season. Sale are still right up there in and around the top 4. Bristol, we know, are going to be very strong. They've won at Gloucester tonight just by a point, top against bottom, but only 1 point in it. Bristol, of course, heavily affected by Six Nations calls, but Gloucester on a terrible run now that they can't seem to stop. Bristol, Exeter, looks like highly likely they're going to be 2 of the top 4, but Sale's still right in the mix, absolutely in the mix still, and a lot of rugby still to be played, and very much their fate still in their own hands come the end of the season.
As we said to Josh as well, I think you want to learn these lessons now if you can. It's not ideal to lose at this stage, but Alex Sanderson can watch that tonight. He can see who's performed, who perhaps hasn't performed, and try and find those combinations. I suppose for a new coach, that could have been in his thinking when making those 10 changes, to see some players, to give some opportunities. It obviously hasn't worked tonight, but I'm sure there would have been a few performances out there who he was impressed with.
Yeah, I'm sure that would have happened. The other difficulty I think for him will be, is it fair to analyse players' performance, one, when it's their first game back in a lot of cases, and 2, in these conditions, because it's bitterly cold. I know we've talked about it, but in all seriousness, I have been to a heck of a lot of football, rugby, Winter Olympics, goodness knows what in my long time of watching and commentating on live sport. I cannot honestly remember being ever as cold as this at a sporting event. So it's mighty, mighty cold, it's mighty windy, it's really difficult conditions. And so you've got to factor that in as well, because it's not going to be the perfect environment for any rugby player to flourish in. And so what we've seen in a game is lots of box kicks and lots of knock-ons, and it hasn't really been a condition where any player could bring anything like their best game to the party, and it was a question really of which team could adapt best and get momentum in the game. And Bath obviously got that early in the game, and Sale were always chasing it, and a couple of little mistakes. The Conor Doherty attempted grubber kick which went wrong. Suddenly Bath have shifted play from one end to the other, and in fact the other early try in the match as well that Tom Dunn scored, all came from Sale being on the attack, and it quickly turned over. So it was a slightly unusual watch in that respect. I'm sure Alex Sanderson has got some insights there, but he probably needs to see quite a bit more of many of his players before he starts to draw any realistic conclusions about what he's got.
No, I agree, Chris, and we will be going down to Colin at some point. Hopefully he'll chat to Alex Sanderson and get you some post-match reaction from that defeat for Sale Sharks. Just a reminder, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for the visit of Exeter Chiefs to the AJ Bell Stadium, and then we'll be at Haywood Road on the Saturday for Sale Sharks women against Harlequins women. So a double header in a couple of weeks' time, and perhaps we can have a look ahead to a couple of those games. Harlequins women, the visitors to Haywood Road on that Saturday. Chris, Sale obviously losing last week down at Gloucester Hartbury, still searching for that second win since the Worcester victory, and I suppose it's just trying to find that consistency in your first season in the Alliance Premier 15s. It's not easy, a new side coming together, but there's definitely been some progression since the start of the season.
Yeah, it has been difficult for Darren Lamont and his team, and I think obviously having had the coronavirus impact, the short break in the women's season that occurred, and other matches that were postponed because of COVID has made it even more difficult. And obviously the players are not fully professional, so the amount of time they get to train and get ready for matches is different, and not all the protocols are there that we have in the men's game. So it has been difficult from a momentum point of view, and that match against Harlequins is going to be a real test for Sale, because Quins are right up there at the top of the table alongside Saracens and Loughborough. But looking forward to that one. Of course, if you've not watched the women's coverage on Sale Sharks Live before, we do have full match pictures as well. We can't, unfortunately, due to broadcast rights, show you the pictures from the men's match, but for the women's we can show you the full match TV style throughout. So we'll be showing that on the Sale Sharks Facebook page, as Ollie says, in 2 weeks' time. And the night before we'll be at the AJ Bell here for the visit of Exeter. So a busy 24 hours for you and me, Ollie, for that weekend.
Very much looking forward to it, Chris. There's lots of rugby on at the moment, isn't there? Lots going on. Six Nations as well last week getting started. More of the same of that tomorrow. And I suppose whilst we wait for Alex Sanderson, we can talk a bit of Six Nations. England facing Italy tomorrow, coming off the back of that defeat to Scotland last week. Eddie Jones sticking mostly with the same side that lost to Scotland. Ollie Lawrence losing his place in the side after having only one touch in the game. So
seemed harsh, didn't it?
It did seem harsh. But George Ford back in at 10. It's a big game for England. So they should win against Italy, but you almost can't win, can you? Because however you play, everyone's expecting England to turn up and just win easily.
Yeah, and England have never lost to Italy in the Six Nations, have they? They're the only side who never had been defeated by Italy since Italy joined it, and judging by Italy's performance against France last week, you wouldn't have thought this was likely to be any different. But yeah, many changes, stiffened up the front row, the return of Carl Sinclair and Mako Vunipola, so Eddie Jones clearly not happy with the performance last week. Jamie George also getting pushed to the bench, Luke Cowan-Dickey coming in. So a few changes. I'm sure some hard words have been spoken this week in the England training camp, and I think all England fans will be hoping for a really positive performance and a positive result tomorrow at Twickenham. Just before we turn our attentions to Alex Sanderson, who we know will be with Colin McKevitt in just a minute or so, we would just like to say our condolences here from Sale Sharks to the families of two Sale Sharks supporters who we've sadly lost in the last few weeks. Roger Bowen, who was the former chairman of the Sale Sharks Supporters Club, and Rob Golding, who was also a Sale fan, both taken from us in the last few weeks. And the condolences of everyone at Sale Sharks and all the team on Sharks Live with the families of Roger and Rob at no doubt a very difficult time. So sending all our condolences and best wishes to the families.
Well said, Chris, well said. Alex Sanderson now comes towards Colin down on the touchline, so hopefully we should hear from him. He'll give us some reaction to the game tonight. And we should be able to go down to Colin just about now. So we can go pitch side to Colin, who's joined by Alex Sanderson.
Thank you very much, Ollie. Thank you very much, Chris. I'm joined by Alex. Alex, thank you. Welcome home. Not the kind of welcome home, but still, bonus point. And I guess you're going to learn a massive amount from that game in defeat.
You have to, don't you? It's not quite the ticker tape fair brass band parade that I wanted. I'm smiling because I'd be crying probably otherwise. Very frustrating game for us in terms of how we gifted them 24 points that first half. You don't win games by conceding 27 points. Not against a team as hungry as what Bath were tonight.
The lads were saying in commentary, there's no easy games in the Premiership, Alex. You know what I mean? Every team can beat each other and stuff like that. It's very strong. And sometimes as a fan, we're very much, we should win. But losing bonus point isn't a bad thing to have.
I don't think probably we deserved to win that game tonight. Not how we started. I think, on our day, probably 9 times out of 10, we're probably a better team than what Bath were. But it just shows the importance of basics. As boring as that sounds, you've simple things like staying onside, set piece penalties, backing up set piece penalties, which you can't afford to do at any level. Silly offloads and ball retention that led to a couple of the tries. Them's the basic things that it doesn't matter how talented your players are, how good your game plan is. You're not going to win games if you don't get those right.
And when the weather's as cold as it is, and it's the wind's blowing, you don't want to be throwing that ball around willy-nilly, do you?
I mean, they showed us tactically how to play the game for a large part. And didn't play. But when we had the ball in the right areas, we looked good. And as I thanked the lads after the game, their effort was nothing short of heroic in that second half to keep going as they did, and to rescue a point out of a game where most teams were laid down. We didn't do that either in the second half.
And you've got to take the positives where you can take the positives sometimes as well, because there was some good moments in that game. There was stuff shining through there, and I guess you can take those positives into next week, I guess. Or there's things that you will be looking at, I suppose.
Quins are a fast break team. You give them kind of opportunities, they'll score 24 points as well. So, like I say, first and foremost, we've just got to be a bit smart with the ball, a bit cleaner with the ball. A little bit more disciplined without it, on their set piece, and those kind of games we'll be closing out as opposed to having to scrap tooth and claw right to the 80th minute.
Listen, thank you for seeing us after the game and appreciate it,
That's
especially
right.
after a loss. But that I'm sure the fans at home are screaming and shouting and cheering just as much, and I'm sure you can't hear them, but they're in the heart always. Do you know what I mean? So thank you so much for joining us at South Sharks Live. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank you very much. I'm going to speak to Jono now as well. Jono's going to slip in. Bought me a bottle of wine there, Johnny lad. Thanks, Jono, for coming to see us. It's not always easy talking positively in a defeat situation as well. I know you get very frustrated sometimes for me trying to find the positives out of the losses, but is there anything that you can draw out of that is a more positive outlook on it?
Definitely, I think the way we finished. It seems to be coming a bit of a trait. We don't start very well, and we seem to finish really well. So there are some positives, definitely. We sort of spoke inside just about making sure we learn from our loss, making sure we improve. Let it hurt, so I don't know for the weekend, but next week we've got to come and make sure we're better than what we were this week. I always say that.
But do you get frustrated when you look at the start, that, like Alex was saying there, that gifting of the points away to Bath, that early kind of, I don't know, I hate to use the word complacency because it's not about being complacent, but all that early 15-20 minutes where it's kind of just gives them a massive head start, and then we have to claw our way back to get a losing point. Yeah. Do you get frustrated?
I don't think it was complacency. I think we spoke in the week about what a good team they are, how hungry they'll be, how desperate they'll be for a win after their last couple of results. But yeah, we definitely we gave it to them. I felt in the first half they didn't have to work for much. So yeah, it is frustrating. But I think under the new sort of direction we're going, this is our first sort of blip. So you know, it's going to be interesting. We'll test the group. And we know we've got a tough one next weekend.
The lads are talking about, I asked Alex about it as well, is sometimes you gain more from a loss like that to learn more about yourselves as a team, about a squad, and how those, you know, you can't replicate that sometimes in training, can you, that recovery and how you come back from a deficit like that. Will you be taking a lot of positives out of that?
Of course we will. There'll be negatives. There'll be things we have to learn off. And like I said in the previous question, I said we've got to learn from the mistakes we made. And, you know, I back our team, I back the players we have, the quality of players we have to bounce back quickly and be a better team for it.
No, listen, mate, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. As always, great to see you. And you know, the fans at home, as always, you know, they're missing us like mad. You must be missing them as well. Anything that you can say to them, anything that they can do for us on social media, for example, to keep you guys going?
Yeah, just to stay positive and keep supporting the team like they do. They're fantastic. And honestly, I've said it many times, the quicker we can get fans in, you know, the better for us. We miss fans across the board, and hopefully life can get back to normal pretty soon.
Thank you very much, John. See you later, mate. Cheers. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we need to hear your comments. Get us on social media. The louder you are on social media, the better we can hear you. Keep sending us those messages. These lads obviously want your support as much as possible. We need to hear from you. So, comments below, hashtags on Twitter. We love them. Please make sure that you keep us abreast of what you've been up to and your thoughts on that game. We will see you very soon on another Sail Sharks Live.